Good morning, dear friend. The sky is still a canvas of soft gray, the world hushed in its earliest hour, and you right now are awake, not by accident, not by coincidence. This moment before the sun fully rises is more than just the start of another day. It is sacred. The stillness of morning holds a quiet kind of hollowness, the kind that whispers truth when the world is too loud to hear it. In this hour, you are not alone. You have been drawn into something deeper, something divine. Maybe you find yourself here because sleep refused to come, or maybe it came and left too soon, leaving you wide-eyed, your heart heavy. You are carrying something: grief, confusion, anxiety, maybe even anger. Perhaps no one else knows the weight you are under. You smile through the day, function through routine, but this morning, something broke open, and you are wondering if anyone sees, if anyone hears, if anyone cares. Let me tell you about someone I knew who found themselves exactly in this place. She was a mother who had just lost her job after 15 faithful years. Her husband had been gone for 3. Cancer took him fast. Her 2 children were depending on her, and she felt like she was failing them with every breath. She would wake up at 4 every morning, not to pray, not to stretch, not to journal, but because fear would physically pull her from sleep. Her heart would race before she even remembered why. Every shadow in her room became a symbol of everything uncertain. Every silence, a deafening reminder that help was nowhere to be found. Until one morning, something changed. She did not reach for her phone like she usually did. She did not sit paralyzed in bed, staring into the dark. Instead, for reasons she could not explain, she whispered 3 trembling words into the emptiness. God, I am here. That whisper, soft, shaky, unpolished, was the beginning of her turning point. Not a miracle, not a sudden flood of answers, but a presence. Peace, like a quiet tide, began to touch the corners of her soul. And it happened in the silence of early morning, before the sun even peeked over the horizon. You may not be her, but maybe you are close. Maybe something inside you is breaking down. Or maybe something inside you is finally breaking free. The truth is, morning has always been holy. Before phones buzz, before coffee brews, before the world demands something of you, this is your time to return to the one who knows you best. Prayer in the morning is not a ritual. It is a rescue. It is the quiet lifting of your soul toward heaven. It is the beginning of transformation, not always visible, but always real. Prayer does not ignore your pain. It enters into it with you. It does not erase your fear, but it stands beside you while fear trembles. Prayer is not about perfection. It is not about saying all the right words or having all the right answers. It is about honesty. It is about presence. It is about trusting that there is someone listening, someone who not only hears but responds. When you open your heart in the morning, you are not just speaking into space. You are stepping into a sacred conversation. You are inviting heaven into your reality. Every word spoken in sincerity becomes a seed, and every seed sown in faith will not return void. So, dear friend, Whatever today holds, whether the road ahead looks promising or paralyzing, you are being offered something more than survival. You are being offered communion. You are being invited to begin this day not with noise, but with depth, not with fear, but with faith. You do not need to have it all figured out. You just need to be willing. Willing to whisper what hurts. Willing to release what you have gripped too tightly. Willing to be still long enough to hear the voice that has always been near. Let this morning be more than just another morning. Let it be your altar. Your beginning. Your sacred turning point. Let your heart rise before the sun does. And now, if you are ready, open the door of your spirit, not to perform, not to impress, but simply to connect, to breathe, to be known. The one who formed your soul in silence is listening, and it is time to speak. Dear Heavenly Father, in this still and sacred moment, when the sky is barely lit and the world still sleeps, I come to you because my heart feels heavy. I will not hide it from you. I do not have it all together. I am not as strong as I pretend to be. And right now, I am not okay. My thoughts are loud. Even though the world is quiet, my fears echo through the silence. And I find myself reaching for you not with confidence, but with longing, with desperation, with hope that maybe you are near and maybe you will hear. I do not have eloquent words. I do not bring perfect faith. What I have is a soul that is tired and eyes that have seen too much disappointment. I am awake because something deep inside refuses to rest. My spirit feels unsettled, like a boat rocked by waves I cannot control. And though I try to hold on, I confess I feel like I am losing grip. So I come to you not because I am strong, but because I am weak. Not because I understand everything, but because I am surrounded by questions. Not because I am holy, but because I know you are. I bring you my brokenness, the kind I do not talk about, the kind that hides behind smiles and polite words. I bring you the pain I have carried in silence, the disappointment that still lingers from things that did not go the way I prayed they would. I bring you the fear that has crept in through unanswered prayers and sleepless nights. I bring you the part of me that feels forgotten, overlooked, and unworthy. I bring you my whole self, without filter or decoration, because I believe you can handle the real me. This morning, I do not ask for ease. I ask for presence. I do not beg for instant answers. I ask for your nearness. I do not need the entire map, just the next step. I do not ask for thunder or fire. I ask for your whisper. Remind me, in this hour, that I am not alone. Let the quiet of this morning be filled with the comfort of knowing that you see me, that you are not far, that you are not silent, that you have not abandoned me. I do not know what this day will bring, but I know you are already in it. I know you go before me. I know you walk beside me. I know you remain behind me to guard my back. Even when my emotions lie and my fears rise, I cling to the truth that you are my refuge and my strength. I hold on to that when nothing else feels steady. So search me, God. Search the places in me that I hide from others. Shine your light into the shadows I have ignored. Uncover the parts I have tried to cover. I do not want to carry what you never asked me to hold. I do not want to fight battles you already won. I do not want to chase validation from voices you have not sent. Help me let go. Help me surrender. Help me trust you. Even now, breathe life into what feels dead inside me. Speak peace over the noise that keeps me up at night. Give me eyes to see beyond what is visible and a heart to believe beyond what is logical. Let faith rise where fear has taken root. Let hope grow where doubt has lived too long. Let love replace the bitterness I have silently justified. Create in me a new heart this morning, one that longs for you more than it longs for answers. You know my thoughts before I think them. You know the weight I carry before I ever say a word. So I will not pretend with you. I will not hide behind strength when what I really feel is weakness. I will not wait until I feel worthy to speak. I will not clean myself up before coming to you. I am here now, just as I am. Because you are good enough for the both of us. You are strong enough to carry what I cannot. You are faithful enough to stay when I have nothing to offer but need. I lay at your feet every burden that has worn me down. The invisible battles, the aching memories, the quiet regrets, the questions without answers, the hopes I no longer speak aloud. I place them all before you because you care for me, not just the polished version of me, but the unfiltered, unedited, unseen parts too. You care for the version of me that shows up in the middle of the night, crying behind closed doors. You care for the version that no one checks on, that keeps going without recognition. You care for me fully, and that changes everything. This morning, I ask for strength, not the kind that impresses people, but the kind that gets me through the next hour. I ask for clarity not about the entire future, but about the next step. I ask for peace not because the storm has passed, but because you are with me in the storm. Let your presence settle over me like a warm blanket on this cool morning. Let your voice be the loudest thing I hear. Let your love quiet the lies I have believed. Let this day not begin with panic or pressure, but with you. Let the first voice I follow be yours. Let the first thought I entertain be truth. Let the first step I take be grounded in grace. I do not have to carry yesterday into today. I do not have to fear what has not happened yet. I am here. I am breathing. And that is enough to begin. I thank you for being the kind of God who does not demand perfection, but invites honesty. For being the kind of God who does not look away from my mess, but moves toward it. For being the kind of God who listens not just to words, but to the cry beneath them. I do not know what you will do today, but I trust who you are. And if this is all I can say right now, if these are the only words that rise from my chest, then let them be true. I need you. I trust you. I am yours, Lord. You heard me in the quiet, when I barely knew what to say. You received my trembling honesty like a gift. And now, I feel something rising. Not strength. Not yet. Not clarity. A deeper H. And I know I must let it speak. I cannot heal what I refuse to face. So here I am again, not with poise, not with polished words, but with everything raw inside me. Everything that was buried under silence and survival. Everything that I tried to manage on my own, but never could. There is pain I never gave language to, wounds I told myself to ignore. There are memories that sting when I least expect it, and disappointments that still sit like stones in my chest. And the more I try to move forward, the more I feel the weight pulling me down. I am tired, God, not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind that lives deep inside, where strength used to be, the kind that makes it hard to hope for anything different. And I confess I do not always know how to pray from this place. I do not know what to ask for when the hurt feels bigger than my words. But you are God, and you do not need my words to understand. You do not require eloquence or clarity. You only ask for honesty. So I give you this groan from within me, this aching sound that comes from the hollow spaces in my soul. The cry I cannot form with syllables, but feel with every breath. I release it to you, trusting that you are near to the brokenhearted, that you do not turn away from the groanings of those who can no longer pretend to be okay. There are nights that still echo inside me, seasons where I begged for change and nothing came, moments I felt invisible even in a crowded room. And now, in the aftermath of all those moments, I stand before you with a heart that is still trying to believe, still trying to trust. I am not asking for easy. I am asking for evidence. Not the kind that proves you exist, but the kind that reminds me you are involved, that you are not a distant God watching from above, but a near and intimate God who kneels beside the pain. I do not want to pretend anymore. I do not want to perform faith while quietly losing my grip on it. So I pour out the hidden parts, the grief I minimized, the heartbreak I dismissed, the fears I downplayed, the anxiety I tried to pray away without facing. I bring them to you now not as problems to be solved, but as wounds to be held. You are not ashamed of me. You are not frustrated by my weakness. You are not disappointed by my struggle. You are the God who catches every tear and stores them as sacred. So I cry not out of hopelessness, but out of surrender. Because sometimes the strongest thing I can do is fall apart in front of you. Sometimes the most holy act is weeping in the dark and believing you will meet me there. Sometimes trust looks like not running from the pain, but handing it to you piece by piece. Not because I know what you will do with it, because I trust you won't waste it. I do not know how to fix all that is broken. I do not know how to silence the voices of shame and fear that still whisper to me. I do not know how to navigate the unknown without getting lost in worry. But I know you. I know you are faithful. I know you are kind. I know you are strong when I am not. And that is enough for now. If you never answered another prayer the way I expect, you would still be worthy of my trust. If the healing came slowly or in ways I did not understand, you would still be good. If the path stays dim and the steps feel shaky, I would still choose to walk with you, because I do not need a perfect life. I need a present God, and that is who you are. Not a rescuer on demand, but a companion in the dark. A listener who hears the soul before the mouth. A father who bends low to comfort what the world ignores. So I cry here, loud in spirit, even if quiet in sound. I let the tears come, not as weakness, but as worship. each one a testimony that I believe you are close enough to catch them, that you are strong enough to carry what I cannot, that you are gentle enough to hold what hurts. Let my tears water the soil where hope will grow again. Let my sorrow be the offering that leads to joy not manufactured, but born of healing. And if today all I can do is cry, then let that cry reach you. Let it move heaven. Let it matter. Let it open the floodgates I have dammed up for too long. I am not asking you to rush the process. I am not demanding results. I am simply choosing not to hide. I am choosing to let you into the place most people never see. I am choosing to trust that even this moment of grief, this ache in my chest, this lump in my throat is not wasted in your hands. I do not need to come to you when I have figured it all out. I need to come to you now, exactly as I am, because you are not waiting for me on the other side of healing. You are here in the midst of the breaking. You are with me in the weeping. You are for me when I do not even know how to be for myself. And that changes everything. That gives purpose to pain. That turns tears into prayers. That transforms silence into sacred space. So here I am, broken and still yours, wounded but not abandoned, crying, but not without hope. Because if you are near, and I believe you are, then this cry is holy. This pain is known. This moment is not empty. You are here, and that is enough. Father, I am still here with you. Quiet now, the tears having done what they needed to do. My chest feels a little lighter, though the pain has not vanished. But in the soft aftermath of my cry, something else begins to, something faint but steady. Not a voice, not a vision, just a memory, gentle and uninvited, rising from somewhere deep within. It is the memory of when you came through before, when you showed up in ways I did not expect, when I was just as broken, just as uncertain, and yet you proved yourself faithful. I think back to times when I almost gave up, when the weight of it all was too much, when I whispered prayers I was not sure reached beyond the ceiling, and then something shifted. Sometimes it was small, a phone call I did not expect, a moment of peace that settled me, a word spoken by someone who had no idea how badly I needed it. Other times it was undeniable. Doors opened that should have stayed closed. Provision arrived at the last possible second. Healing came where I thought only damage remained. And in those moments, I did not have to question whether it was you. I knew you had been near, that you had been listening all along. And if you did it before, you can do it again. That truth does not erase what I am facing now, but it gives me reason to stand, to breathe deeper, to believe with more courage than I did an hour ago. You are not a stranger to my need. You are not unfamiliar with the depths I have reached, and you are certainly not limited by the darkness I am navigating now. The same God who carried me through then is the same God who walks with me now. You have not changed. You want to start failing me here. God, let these memories of your goodness echo louder than my fear. Let them interrupt the spiral of what-ifs and remind me that my history with you is a testimony I can hold on to. Remind me how many times you have shown mercy when I did not ask for it. How many ways you have led me when I did not even realize I was following. There were moments I thought I was forgotten, But later I saw you had been writing something sacred behind the scenes. There were prayers I thought had gone unanswered, only to find out you answered them in ways better than I would have known to ask. And yet, I forget. I forget so easily when the present feels loud and the pain feels fresh. I forget when I get caught up in needing to know, needing to see, needing to feel in control. But this morning, I choose to remember. I choose to pause the noise and lean into what I already know about you. I choose to bring to mind the times you have made a way where there was none. I choose to speak the truth of your character louder than the lie of my current fear. You are not just the God of my past. You are the God of this moment, and you are already weaving purpose into what feels senseless. Even now, as the sun begins to rise, I see how light returns, slowly but surely, just as you have done for me over and over again. You never leave the story unfinished. You never abandon what you begin. So even if I am still in the middle, even if I do not yet see the conclusion, I will trust the author. I will remember that you have been faithful every time, and you will not break that pattern now. Lord, help me build an altar with these memories. Let them not be passing thoughts, but stones of remembrance, stacked in the soil of my soul. Let them anchor me when the waves rise again. Let them teach my heart that you are not a God who teases with hope and then disappears. You are a God who stays, who delivers, who loves with a consistency I can barely grasp. And you have never failed me yet. So even when I do not feel you, I will recall when I did, even when I can trace your hand. I will remember the fingerprints you left behind. You were there when I thought I would fall apart. And somehow, I am still standing. That is not coincidence. That is not strength I conjured on my own. That is you. That is grace. That is mercy moving in silence. Thank you for every time you met me in places too deep for words. Thank you for not needing me to be fearless in order to be faithful. Thank you for understanding how forgetful my heart can be, and still being patient with me as I relearn what I have already known. I have tasted your goodness. I have seen your faithfulness, and even now, in this fragile hour, I am beginning to believe that I will see it again. Let the past be more than just memory. Let it be fuel. Let it become proof that my prayers are not empty and my pain is not wasted. Let it testify to my own heart that I am not alone, and I never was. You are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So what you did before is not confined to history. It is a preview of what you are still capable of doing. And if you carried me through once, I know you can do it again. If you healed the places I thought would never stop hurting, then I know this ache is not too much for you. If you opened doors I never could, then even now, you are working in ways I cannot see. God, help me not just to remember, but to believe again. To believe that even now, there are miracles unfolding. That even now, there is provision moving in my direction. That even now, there is grace being written into my story with every breath I take. Let every past deliverance become a declaration over my present. Let every testimony rise like incense and declare, you are not done with me. I will not let today be defined by what I fear, but by what I know of you. I will not walk through this morning as if I have forgotten who you are. You are the God who pulled me out before, and you are pulling me through now. Let that be enough to carry me through this day. Let that be the echo I walk with. Let it ring louder than doubt. Let it rise higher than fear. Let it sing softly over my soul and remind me, you are not just the God of yesterday's miracles. You are the God of right now. Lord, even now as I recall your faithfulness, something quiet is unfolding within me. It is not loud or dramatic, not a shout or a sign written across the sky. It is a stillness, like a sacred hush settling deep in my spirit. And in that hush, there is only one thing I know to say: your name, not with volume, but with reverence. Not because I fully understand all you are, but because something in me trusts that your name holds more power than any other word I could speak. So I say it again, not out of habit, but out of need. Jesus, that name has calmed storms long before I was born. It has healed the broken, restored the lost, lifted the low, and raised the dead. It carries weight my mind can measure, yet my heart reaches for it like a lifeline in deep water. And this morning, I say it not as a closing to a prayer, but as the beginning of a deeper intimacy. The mention of your name reminds me that I do not have to figure everything out. I just have to stay close to you. Father, as I breathe that name into this quiet hour, I feel the noise within me begin to settle. Not because all my problems have vanished, but because I have remembered where my peace truly comes from. Not in answers, not in solutions, but in you. Your name is my anchor. Your name is my hiding place. Your name is the steady in my chaos, the calm in my worry, the light that refuses to go out no matter how long the night has felt. Sometimes I forget that I do not need to come with elaborate prayers or perfect phrases. Sometimes I forget that your presence is not summoned by performance, but by simple surrender. And this morning, in the whisper of your name, I remember that you draw near to the honest heart, not the rehearsed one. I remember that you are not impressed by polished words, but moved by authentic longing. And I long for you now more than I long for anything else. God, let your name echo through the hollow places in me. Let it find its way into the corners I have closed off, into the memories I avoid, into the fears I still do not know how to name. Let your name be the song that fills the silence, the balm that soothes the wound, the banner that flies over me when I feel most exposed. You are not far. You are not silent. You are not passive. You are present. And your name proves it. I do not ask for big revelations today. I ask for awareness. Help me notice the way you show up in small moments. Help me hear your voice in the quiet nudges, the gentle reminders, the peace that does not make sense, but finds its way to me anyway. Help me see that you are not hiding. You are not distant. You are right here, closer than my breath, closer than my thoughts, and always whispering your name over me when I forget to say it myself. Jesus, I do not need a sign in the sky. I just need the faith to believe that the name I speak in this stillness is heard in the heavens. That when I say your name in a whisper, all of heaven leans close. That when I call you, you come not out of obligation, but out of love. You have never been indifferent to my voice. You have never rolled your eyes at my need. You have never shrugged at my pain. Every time I speak your name, you respond not always in the way I imagine, but always in a way that brings life. I am reminded of the stories I have heard, of those who were desperate, broken, on the edge of giving up, and all they had left was your name. And it was enough. The thief on the cross who could say nothing but a plea. The woman who reached through a crowd for the hem of your robe. The blind man who shouted even louder when others told him to be quiet. They all had one thing in common: hope wrapped around the sound of your name. And they were never the same again. So I say it again, not out of fear this time, but out of confidence. Jesus, the name that holds mercy when I expect judgment. The name that sees worth where the world sees failure. The name that breaks chains I did not even realize I was wearing. The name that brings heaven into the room, even when I feel like I am barely standing. Let me carry that name through the day ahead, not like a charm or a ritual, but like breath. Let it be the rhythm beneath my thoughts. Let it be the light in my conversations. Let it shape the way I respond, the way I walk, the way I wait. Let your name settle my racing thoughts and reframe what feels overwhelming. Let it remind me that I do not walk through this world alone, that there is someone who sees, someone who cares, someone who holds authority over what feels uncertain to me. Father, if all I have today is the whisper of that name, let it be enough. Let it be more than enough. Let it be a door into peace, a gateway into strength, a reminder that I am not my own savior and never have to be. Let the power of your name disarm the voices of doubt that try to rise again. Let it silence shame before it finds its way into my language. Let it declare over every place I walk, you are with me. This is not just a name I say to feel better. It is the name of the one who never left, the one who took on pain and carried it to a cross, the one who did not run when the road got hard, the one who rose again to remind me that every ending is just the beginning of something new in your hands. That name means resurrection. That name means redemption. That name means I have reason to hope even when the world tells me not to. Jesus, you are not just my rescue, you are my reason. You are not just the answer. I did not even know the right question until I found you. And now, everything inside me wants to know you more. I do not want to just survive. I want to live awake. I want to walk aware of your nearness. I want to breathe with the rhythm of your love guiding my every move. Let your name be the melody I hum when I am alone. Let it be the prayer I speak beneath my breath when no one is listening. Let it be the comfort I run to when the world grows too loud again. And let it be the fire that keeps me moving forward, even when the road feels long. So here I am, not just saying your name, trusting in it, leaning into it, believing that is more than enough for today. And if nothing else changes but the posture of my heart, that will be enough, because I carry the name that changes everything. I carry the name that cannot be shaken, and that name is Jesus. Father, even as your name rests gently on my lips, something inside me begins to stir a quiet realization that if I am going to carry your presence, I cannot ignore what I have allowed to remain inside. If I want my heart to be your dwelling place, then I must also invite you to examine what has gathered in the corners I rarely open. I can no longer ask for peace while protecting the very things that steal it. So here I am, not just reaching for comfort, but asking for cleansing. Not surface level, not temporary, but deep, lasting, and real. I open the doors I once kept shut. I uncover what I have tried to keep buried beneath distraction and business. I let down the curtains that covered resentment. I move aside the furniture I used to block pain. I remove the masks I wore to make everything look fine. I am not here to perform healing. I am here to invite you into the mess. I am not here to decorate brokenness. I am here to surrender it. Lord, I know there are things I have held onto that you have long been asking me to release. Old wounds that I have turned into walls. Offenses I nurtured into bitterness. Thoughts I have entertained that pull me further from you. I have allowed fear to decorate the halls of my mind and shame to carve its name into the walls of my heart. But this morning, in the presence of your name, I choose to be honest. I do not want to carry anything you did not place in me. I do not want to protect anything you have asked me to lay down. So search me, God, not just gently but thoroughly. Dig deeper than my words. Sift through the silence between them. Identify what I have learned to live with, but was never meant to keep. I give you permission to disrupt what has become too comfortable. I give you access to the places I have locked away for fear of what they might reveal, because I believe that your presence does not come to shame me. It comes to free me, cleans me from pride, the kind that hides behind false strength and resists asking for help. Cleans me from envy, the silent resentment of others, blessings that I pretend not to feel. Cleans me from comparison, from the poison that whispers I am not enough unless I become someone else. Wash away the irritability that finds its voice in small moments. Wash away the judgment I silently carry, the expectations I place on others while excusing them in myself. Purify my thoughts, especially the ones I do not speak aloud but let linger far too long. God, I know that repentance is not a punishment. It is a pathway. It is the road back to alignment with you. So I do not resist it. I welcome it. I ask not just for forgiveness, but for transformation, not just for pardon, but for renewal. I want to want what you want. I want my desires to match your will. I want to think like you think, see like you see, love like you love. But I know that can't happen unless I let you clear out what stands in the way. I offer you every grudge, every compromise, every secret thought that has taken root where joy should have lived. I do not want to be a clean cup on the outside, but moldy on the inside. I do not want to recite prayers while hiding parts of myself from the very one I am praying to. So strip away what does not belong. Remove the patterns that keep me circling the same mountain. Break the cycles I have called personality, but are really chains. Touch the motives beneath the actions. Touch the wounds beneath the words. Father, teach me how to repent not just once, but daily. Teach me that confession is not defeat, but deliverance. That when I bring the ugliest parts of me to you, I am met not with rejection, but with mercy. that your correction is not cruelty, but love in its most honest form, that you do not point out my failures to mock me, but to call me higher. You clean me not to make me worthy of you, but to help me live in the fullness of what you have already given. I want my life to reflect your glory, but I know that begins in the hidden places. So refine me in silence. Let your spirit sweep through every room of my soul like a holy wind. Let conviction come, not to crush me, but to guide me back to wholeness. Let it be tender but true. Let it show me not only where I have missed the mark, but how you long to draw me closer. God, I do not come to you as a finished work. I come as clay on the wheel, marred by the weight of this world, by choices I regret, by moments I wish I could rewrite. But I trust you as the potter. I trust your hands to shape me, even when it feels uncomfortable. I trust your vision for who I can become. I trust that you are not discouraged by what you see in me, that you see past the mess and into the masterpiece you are making. Let this be the morning I stop pretending. Let this be the morning I stop managing my own brokenness and start handing it to you. Let this be the hour where true transformation begins, not because I willed it to happen, but because I surrendered to the one who can do what I never could. Let my body be a living temple again, not cluttered with compromise, but clean and filled with light. I ask you to fill what you have cleansed. Replace what you have removed. Fill the empty places with peace. Fill the broken places with joy. Fill the hollow places with purpose. Let purity not feel like loss, but like freedom. Let obedience not feel like burden, but like joy. Let this cleansing be more than symbolic. Let it shift how I live, how I speak, how I love. Let it set the tone for how I begin this day and every day that follows. And if I forget, if I slip back into old ways, if I cling to what I have just surrendered, remind me gently. Remind me that your mercy is still new, that I can begin again, not in shame, but in grace, that you are patient with the process and committed to the outcome, that you are not here to condemn, but to restore, not here to accuse, but to transform. So here I am, wide open, not perfect, but honest, not fearless, but willing, not holy, but hungry for you. Cleanse this temple, Lord, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. Make it a place you love to dwell, a place where truth reigns, where peace lives, where your presence is not just welcomed, but honored in every corner. Nothing remain that separates me from the fullness of who you are. Let every breath I take today come from a heart made new. Father, after opening every room in me and asking you to cleanse what I could no longer carry, I now feel exposed in a new way, not afraid, not ashamed, but aware that something in me is shifting. The walls I built are no longer standing. The clutter I once clung to has been swept away, and in this open space, I feel the gentle weight of your hands. I feel you not just observing, but shaping, not just forgiving, but forming. And I welcome it. I welcome the process of being molded in your presence. You are the potter, and I am the clay. That truth has echoed through time, but now it speaks to me personally. This is not just a picture, it is my posture. I am on the wheel, turning slowly beneath your steady hands. There is nothing rushed here, no frantic scraping or harsh pressure. Just movement, just your grace, applied with wisdom, pressing gently into the places that need redefining. I can feel the rhythm of your hands smoothing what has been hardened by pain. You do not force change. You coax it with tenderness. You press just enough to realign me with purpose, to bring out the form you always knew was possible beneath the layers. You are not impatient. You are not careless. You are steady, precise, and intentional. Lord, I admit that sometimes I resist this process. I want to be transformed, but I want it to happen on my terms. I want the shaping without the spinning, the refining without the heat, but I realize now that without surrender, there can be no true formation. Without trust, there can be no masterpiece. So I yield again, not just to be cleansed, but to be crafted. Shape my heart to reflect your character. Remove the edges of pride that still linger when I am tested. Soften the parts of me that have grown calloused through disappointment. Expand the parts that have grown too small, too afraid, too self-protective to love the way you love. Mold my thoughts to align with your truth, not the noise I have absorbed from the world around me. Stretch my capacity for compassion, for humility, for patience. Let me not just look different on the surface, but be different from the inside out. God, I know that the shaping will not always feel good. There will be moments when it feels like I am being broken. Not built, but I trust your hands. I trust that every press, every shift, every turn has purpose. You are not experimenting. You are restoring. You are not guessing. You are working with clarity I cannot yet see. And if I can believe that the wheel is not punishment, but process, then maybe I can find peace even in the middle of my most uncertain moments. Teach me not to flinch when you apply pressure. Teach me to stay still when everything in me wants to run from the discomfort of change. Teach me to see correction not as rejection, but as direction. I do not want to resist what you are doing because it scares me. I want to lean into it because I trust you, because I know that being shaped by you is far more sacred than being admired by anyone else. This morning, I ask that you not only shape me for my own growth, but also for the impact you have called me to make. Shape me into someone who carries your love with integrity, who moves through this world not trying to impress, but to serve, who speaks with kindness, walks in humility, and forgives with grace. Shape me into someone who reflects your heart in private, not just in public, who seeks your approval above all others, who longs to be more like you, even when no one else is watching. I do not want to be defined by what I have done or what I have failed to do. I want to be known by what you have formed in me. Let your fingerprints remain on my soul as a mark of who I belong to. Let your signature be seen not in what I say, but in how I live. Let the beauty of what you are shaping become a testimony, not of my strength, but of your faithfulness. There are parts of me I thought were too damaged to be redeemed. Dreams I thought had been crushed beyond recognition. Areas of my life that have felt like scraps too scattered to become something whole. But you do not discard what is cracked. You restore. You reshape. You use even the shattered pieces as part of the design. There is nothing wasted in your hands. Lord, if I must remain on the wheel a little longer, so be it. If I must be pressed a little deeper, stretched a little further, spun a little slower, I trust you. I trust that you see what I cannot, that you know when to press and when to pause, that you are never careless, never hurried, never absent, that you are fully invested in the story you are writing through me. And if the process takes longer than I expected, I will not despise it, because in your hands, even the waiting is working. Let the work of your hands be evident, not only in my healing, but in my becoming. Let others not just see the finished form, but sense the story of grace behind it. Let my life tell the truth that I am not self-made, not performance-driven, not defined by success or failure, but shaped by mercy. Daily, intentionally, eternally, I surrender to your design, even when it does not match mine. I yield to your shaping, even when it feels unfamiliar. I rest in the knowledge that I am safest not when I have control, but when I am in your hands. And in those hands, I am not just held, I am made new. I am formed again and again until the reflection that stares back in the mirror begins to look less like who I was and more like who you have always intended me to be. And if today is one of those days when the shaping feels slow, let me remember that slow is not failure. It is often how masterpieces are born. Let me be patient with what you are doing in me. Let me trust that even when I cannot see the final shape, you can, and that is enough. So keep shaping me, potter of my soul. Let your hands be the only ones that define me. Let your vision be the one that guides me. Let your process be the one I trust, not only today, but with every day you give me after. Let my whole life become something beautiful in your hands, not because I am flawless, but because you are faithful. Lord, as I rest in the truth that I am being shaped by your hands, I become aware of the turbulence that still exists around me. Though I know I am in your care, the storm has not passed. The winds of uncertainty still howl. The waves of fear still rise. And even with faith alive inside me, I find myself trembling again. So I come to you not with polished strength, but with open hands and a trembling heart. I need more than understanding. I need your voice. I need you to speak peace to the storm that surrounds me. Father, you know the chaos I face, the things that keep me awake at night and rob me of stillness. You know the thoughts that spin like whirlwinds in my mind, the doubts that knock relentlessly at the doors of my belief. I do not want to be overcome by these storms. I do not want to let the sound of crashing waves drown out the whisper of your promises. I want to be anchored, not by what I feel, but by what you have said. So speak, Lord. Speak to the winds that rage in my circumstances. Speak to the waters that rise with worry. Speak to the shadows that creep into my thinking, trying to convince me that everything will fall apart. I know the storm is not stronger than you. I know that one word from your mouth carries more weight than all the noise surrounding me. You are not intimidated by the waves. You are not overwhelmed by what overwhelms me. You are calm even when I am not. You are steady when everything else shakes. Sometimes I think peace means the storm must end. But maybe it means that I can have stillness even while it continues. Maybe peace is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of trust. So if you choose not to silence the storm just yet, then let your voice speak within me. Let it hush the panic. Let it subdue the fear. Let it teach my heart a new rhythm, one that moves with grace. Not anxiety, God. When the noise of the world grows louder, remind me that I have access to a deeper silence. When deadlines loom, when relationships strain, when health wavers, when finances shake, when the future looks foggy, remind me to return to this sacred space with you, to return not as a visitor, but as one who belongs, to retreat not to escape reality, but to be refilled with truth that transcends it. Teach me what it means to rest in you, even when everything in me wants to fix, control, or run. Teach me how to breathe slowly when life speeds up, how to respond in kindness when stress demands reaction, how to choose faith when fear feels more familiar. I cannot do these things alone, but I do not have to, because you are here, and your peace is not just a concept. It is a person. It is you. You are not just the one who calms the storm. You are the one who walks on its waves. You do not wait for the waters to settle before you move. You show up in the thick of it, unshaken, unmatched. And if you can walk on what threatens to sink me, then surely you can help me do the same. Not in my own strength, but in yours. Not by trying harder, but by leaning deeper. I ask you now to still the storm within me, the inner storm that others cannot see, the private fear, the internal wrestling, the hidden unrest. Let your peace sweep through every unsettled place. Let it rest on my shoulders like a blanket. Let it move through my mind like a gentle wind that clears away debris. Let it settle into the cracks, the crevices, the places where I have been holding on too tightly. I do not need every answer. I just need you close. Even if the waves do not subside today, give me the grace to stay afloat in faith. Help me to lift my eyes above the horizon of my fear and to fix them on you. Let me be like Peter, not fearless, but willing to step onto what seems impossible, trusting that your hand will always catch me when I fall. I do not need to walk perfectly. I just need to keep walking toward you. Lord, I surrender my urge to predict the future, to control outcomes, to demand immediate calm. Instead, I choose to trust the one who holds the storm in his hand. I choose to believe that peace is not fragile. It is fierce. It stands in defiance of fear. It does not run. It reigns. And because you are peace, I can stand too, not because I am fearless, but because I am held. When the storm speaks fear, let your voice be louder. When the storm brings chaos, let your spirit bring stillness. When I am tempted to believe that you have forgotten me in the storm, remind me that you are the God who never sleeps, who never misses a moment, who never lets go. You are present in the lightning. You are speaking in the thunder. You are here even when I cannot see past the rain. I will not curse the storm if it brings me closer to your heart. I will not despise the struggle if it deepens my dependence. I will not fear the wind if I know you are walking through it with me. Let this moment become sacred, not because everything is calm, but because I am choosing to meet you in the middle of the mess. And when I forget, when I drift, when I start to sink beneath the weight of it all again, reach for me. Remind me. Call me back to this place where peace is not found in circumstances, but in communion, where calm is not external, but internal, rooted in relationship, anchored in trust. So I sit here now, not trying to escape the storm, but to be still in it, not trying to explain the why, but to receive the who. You are enough. You are near. You are peace. Speak to my storm, not just around me, but within me. And I will wait for the sound of your voice above all others. I will listen for the calm only you can bring. I will trust that even if nothing changes around me, everything has changed within me because you are here, God. Even as I rest in the stillness you have spoken into my storm, I am aware of the world I must now return to. The storm may be silenced for a moment, but I know life does not always remain calm. There will be pressures. There will be demands. There will be moments when I feel vulnerable again. And so I come to you this morning, not only for peace but for protection. Not only to be calmed but to be covered. I need you to be my refuge, my shelter, my stronghold in a world that often feels unsafe. Father, I do not ask you to remove me from the challenges. I only ask that you surround me within them. Be the wall I lean against when I feel exposed. Be the covering I hide beneath when I feel too weak to stand. Be the unshakable foundation beneath my feet when everything else is uncertain. I am not seeking escape. I am seeking endurance fortified by your presence, not by my own strength. There are battles I face each day that no one sees, silent struggles that wear down my heart little by little, thoughts that creep in, trying to convince me I am not safe, not loved, not protected. But you are the fortress I run to. You are the place where fear cannot follow, where lies are silenced and truth resounds. You are the shelter that does not crack when the pressure builds, the refuge that holds steady when the winds rise again. Lord, I do not need to be the strongest one in the room when I know the one who surrounds it. I do not need to defend myself when you are my defense. I do not need to have the right words when you are already speaking on my behalf. When others misunderstand me, you remain my clarity. When I am misjudged, you are my covering. When I am exhausted from trying to protect my own heart, you remind me that I was never meant to do that alone. So I step under the shadow of your wings, not as a coward, but as a child who knows where to run. I stand behind the shield of your faithfulness, not because I am afraid of the world, but because I choose not to face it unarmed. I know where my strength comes from. I know who my protector is. I know that no attack, no accusation, no scheme can reach me without first passing through your hands. God, build a fortress around my mind today. Let your truth stand guard over my thoughts. Let no lie find a foothold. Let no anxiety build a stronghold. Let no memory from the past become a weapon against me. I declare that this mind belongs to you. It will not be a battleground for fear. It will not be a playground for doubt. It will be a sanctuary of peace, guarded by the one who formed it. Build a fortress around my heart. Let your love be the walls that hold me. Let your joy be the gates that open only to what brings life. Let your mercy be the watchman that turns away shame. Do not let bitterness take root. Do not let offense seep through the cracks. Let this heart be protected, not by hardness, but by holiness. And God, build a fortress around my spirit. Let it not be shaken by what I see or hear. Let it not be crushed by disappointment or delay. Let it not be drained by the expectations of others. You are the guardian of my soul, the keeper of my hope, the one who stands when I cannot, the one who holds me steady when all I want to do is fall apart. I know I cannot avoid hardship. I know the arrows may still fly. The winds may still howl. The pressures may still mount. But I will not live in fear. I will not shrink back in dread. I will walk through this day clothed in confidence, not in myself, but in you, because you are not only my Savior, you are my shield. You are not only my guide, you are my guard. You are not only the one who goes before me, you are also the one who surrounds me. When the enemy whispers that I am vulnerable, I will declare that I am protected. When fear knocks at the door, I will not answer. I will let your peace respond. When circumstances tempt me to believe that I am exposed and uncovered, I will remember that you have already gone ahead of me, prepared the way, and positioned your angels to stand watch. I will not live as though I am alone. I am not. Father, thank you for being my hiding place, not to retreat from the world, but to return to it empowered. Thank you for being the place I can exhale, release, and reset. Thank you for never growing weary of being my refuge. You are not annoyed when I run to you. You do not tire of defending me. You delight in protecting what you love, and you love me more than I understand. Today, I ask for the awareness to stay inside the covering you have provided, to not step out of your presence chasing things that cannot protect me, to not wander from your guidance trying to prove something you have already declared. I do not need to earn safety. I need only to remain close, and you have never once pushed me away. Let my words today carry the strength of someone who knows they are guarded. Let my posture reflect the confidence of one who is surrounded. Let my choices be rooted in the peace that comes from being secure. And let my spirit overflow with assurance, not because the world has changed, but because I know who holds it and who holds me. Lord, as I move into the hours ahead, wrap me in the armor of your love. Let it be the invisible shield around me that repels what is not from you. Let it be the force that quiets every voice of fear and extinguishes every fiery dart. Let it be the protection I do not have to maintain by striving, but the grace I simply receive by trusting. You are my fortress. I will not fear what comes against me. I will not be undone by the threats of the day. I will not crumble under the weight of what might happen, because you are my defense. You are my covering. You are my strength. And nothing touches my life without first passing through the wall of your sovereign, unshakable love. Father, If you are my fortress, then I no longer have to live reacting to every attack. I do not have to spend my energy watching my back, anticipating pain, bracing for betrayal. I can live forward. I can breathe without fear. I can walk boldly, not because the path is always smooth, because I know you have already declared victory over every battle I will face. Still, I feel the tension, the reality that there are forces I cannot see, voices I cannot always silence, opposition that comes not just from others, but sometimes from within myself. That is why I come to you now, not to ask if there will be resistance, but to remember that none of it will overcome me. God, you said no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You did not say the weapons would not form. You did not say the enemy would stop trying. But you did say those weapons would not win. And I cling to that promise now, not as a vague hope, but as a shield I raise in the face of every lie, every fear, every unseen battle I feel rising in the air around me. Let me not only hear that truth, but carry it into the deepest places where doubt has taken hold. Lord, I know that not all attacks come in obvious ways. Sometimes, they come as subtle thoughts that question my worth. Sometimes they take the form of comparison, envy, or insecurity. Other times they show up in conversations that cut deeper than they should, or through silence that screams of rejection. But I declare that none of these have the final word. Your truth does. Your voice does. Your hand does. I stand in the strength of your word and not the weakness of my emotions. I stand in the truth of what you have spoken over me, not in the shifting opinions of others. I declare that every word of curse, every scheme of manipulation, every whisper of accusation must fall powerless at the feet of your authority. I declare that no opposition crafted in darkness can extinguish the light you have placed within me. I am not defenseless. I am not exposed. I am covered by the blood of Jesus. I am held in the safety of your promise. I am clothed in spiritual armor that was not made by human hands. Today I take up the shield of faith, not blind belief, but courageous confidence that you are who you say you are. And you will do what you have said you will do. I take up the sword of your word, not to wound, but to fight against deception. I wear the helmet of salvation that guards my mind from every thought that tries to contradict who you have made me to be. I fasten truth around me like a belt that keeps everything secure. I step into peace like shoes that steady my every move. I do not move unprotected. I do not walk unaware. I am fully equipped, not because of me, but because of you. Father, let the weapons of fear shatter before they reach me. Let the arrows of accusation fall short. Let every lie whispered in the shadows be drowned out by the clarity of your voice. Remind me that spiritual battles are not won by striving, but by standing. Standing firm in who you are. Standing firm in who I am in you. Standing firm even when I do not feel strong. Because strength is not a feeling, it is a foundation. You are my defender, God, and you fight in ways I cannot. While I sleep, you guard me. While I work, you cover me. While I worship, you war on my behalf. There are battles I never even see, victories I do not recognize until much later. And though I may feel the resistance, I trust that you are greater than what resists me. You are the one who shuts the mouths of lions and splits seas with a word. You are the one who brings walls down with a shout and delivers with power disguised in stillness. Even when I feel surrounded, I am not trapped. I am enclosed in your favor. Even when my name is brought up in places I cannot defend myself. You are my advocate. Even when attacks feel personal, you remind me that my battle is not against flesh and blood. So I choose not to retaliate. I choose not to repay evil for evil. I will not lower myself to match the weapons used against me. I will rise in love. I will rise in truth. I will rise in peace. Knowing that you are the one who vindicates. You are the one who brings justice in your timing and your way. Let no bitterness take root where wounds have been inflicted. No hatred fester where offense tried to linger. Let no fear remain where your perfect love casts it out. I ask you to not only protect me from what is external, but also from what tries to grow inside me as a result. Protect me from becoming hardened. Protect me from self-preservation that builds walls too high to let love in. Let my strength be gentleness. Let my defense be integrity. Let my covering be humility. God, I declare again that I am not defeated. I am not abandoned. I am not exposed to the mercy of the enemy. I am held in the palm of your hand, and no plan against me will prevail. My destiny is not vulnerable to human opinion or demonic interference. What you have spoken over me cannot be overturned. What you have sealed cannot be stolen. The oil on my life is not up for negotiation. The calling on my life is not fragile. You have built me with purpose, and no force formed against me can dismantle what you have designed. So today, I walk in quiet confidence, not shouting my defense, not trying to prove my worth, but resting in your covering. Let peace be my position. Let joy be my retaliation. Let grace be my response. I trust you to take care of what I cannot see. I trust you to handle what I cannot reach. I trust you to disarm every weapon before it ever finds its mark. Father, I thank you that the enemy's efforts are limited, but your power is limitless. I thank you that while the enemy may plot, you already have the victory written. I thank you that no matter how close the attack feels, you are closer still. I thank you that I am not fighting for victory, I am fighting from it. You have already overcome, and because I am in you, so let that truth settle into every breath I take today. Let it anchor me when fear tries to return. Let it lift my head when shame tries to press it down. Let it my every move not with panic, with purpose. You are my victory. You are my strength. You are my unshakable defense. And in you, I am already more than a conqueror. Father, if no weapon formed against me will prosper, then I no longer have to live in fear of lack either. I no longer need to wake up wondering whether I will have enough strength, enough wisdom, enough provision, enough peace, because you are not just my protector, you are my provider. You sustain what you shield. You do not just guard me from harm. You also care for me in the daily, in the quiet, in the needs that seem small but weigh heavy when they are unmet. So this morning, I come to you not with grand requests, but with simple trust. I come asking for today's bread. Lord, you taught us to pray this way, not for abundance tomorrow, not for overflow next month, but for what is needed today. Give us this day our daily bread. That prayer is not weak, it is sacred. It reminds me that you are a present God, not just a future planner, that you meet me here, in this moment, with what I need to walk through this specific day. I do not need to carry the weight of tomorrow when your grace is being poured into now. There are days when I want to see further ahead, days when I reach for guarantees and outcomes before I have even taken the next step. But you gently bring me back. You remind me that daily bread is enough, that I do not need to hoard peace like a possession. I simply need to trust you to provide it fresh again when the sun rises. That your mercies are new each morning, not because they run out, but because you delight in giving what is fresh, what is right, what is perfectly timed. God, you know what I need even when I do not. You know the moments that will stretch me today, the interactions that will test my patience, the news that may rattle my calm, the tasks that will ask more of me than I think I have to give. So I ask now, before those moments come, fill me. Give me grace that runs deep, not just enough to survive, but enough to bless others from the overflow. Feed my soul before the hunger sets in. Satisfy the ache before it grows into desperation. I ask not just for physical provision, though I know you care about that too. You see every bill, every meal, every need that sits unspoken in the back of my mind. You are the God who places coins in fish mouths and sends bread from the sky. You do not overlook the details. But more than money, more than food, more than material things, I need what cannot be seen. I need patience when I am worn thin. I need clarity when confusion creeps in. I need energy when my body drags and my spirit feels flat. I need joy that outlasts frustration. I need contentment that quiets comparison. Let me not overlook what you give because I am too busy chasing what you have not. Let me not mistake sufficiency for scarcity just because it does not look like excess. Teach me to recognize your hand in the ordinary, the way you provide encouragement through a passing smile, the way you answer prayers through unexpected timing, the way you stretch what little I have and make it more than enough when placed in your hands. Nothing offered to you is wasted. Nothing surrendered is overlooked. Help me, God, to come to you each morning with empty hands, not clenched fists, to bring the baskets of my need, trusting that you will fill them again. Even if you filled them yesterday, help me not to live off old manna when you are offering fresh bread. Help me to expect again, to open my heart to the daily miracle of provision, not just in dramatic moments, but in quiet consistency. Father, when I am tempted to fear not having enough, remind me of how many times you have already come through. How many times I did not see the answer until it showed up right on time. How many mornings I woke up unsure, and how many nights I laid down thankful. You have never left me empty. Not once. Even in the waiting, you were working. Even in the silence, you were planning. Even in the lack, you were leading me to see provision in new ways. Let my gratitude be louder than my worry. Let my thanksgiving fill the space where anxiety tries to grow. Let me become someone who notices the small ways you sustain me, a moment of quiet when I needed rest, a verse that found me when I needed truth, a conversation that gave me courage to keep going. These are not coincidences. These are kindnesses. These are you. Teach me to pray with trust, not desperation, to ask not from fear but from faith. I am not begging a reluctant giver. I am receiving from a generous Father. You do not ration love. You do not measure out mercy like it will run dry. You are abundance. You are fullness. You are the God who multiplies even what seems scarce. If all I have today is 5 loaves and 2 fish, you can make it enough. You can feed thousands. You can turn little into legacy. So I rest in that. Even now, I do not panic over what I cannot see. I do not fear what has not yet arrived, because you are already in tomorrow, preparing what I will need when I get there. My job is to walk in today, to trust you with this moment, to eat the bread you have placed before me, to believe that is enough, and that you are enough. And if lack comes knocking again, I will not answer with despair. I will answer with faith. I will lift my eyes to you and say, you have been faithful before. You will be faithful again. Let that be my declaration. Let it be the rhythm that guides my heart through this day. I will not starve in the hands of the bread of life. I will not thirst when the living water walks with me. Lord, I surrender my striving. I surrender the need to have everything figured out. I lay down the illusion that I must store up what only you can give daily. You are the source. You are the well that does not run dry. You are the table where I am always welcome, always fed, always filled. Today, I ask not for more than I need. I ask for what is right, what is real, what is from you. Give me this day my daily bread. Let me receive it with humility. Let me carry it with joy. Let me share it with others without fear of running out. You are the God who provides, and this day is already held in your hands. Lord, if you are the one who gives me daily bread, then you also know when I need rest, not just sleep, but true restoration, not just escape, but healing. My body can move through a routine, and my mind can stay busy with tasks. But my soul tells the truth, and the truth is, I am weary. I carry burdens that no one else sees. I walk with questions that remain unanswered. I pour out more than I replenish. And though I trust you to provide what I need, I now ask that you lead me beside still waters. Because what I need most this morning is not just strength to go further, but stillness to be made whole again. Father, I know that stillness is not the same as idleness. You are not calling me to abandon responsibility, but to pause long enough to let you restore me. There is something sacred in the slowing down, something holy in the quiet spaces where I stop trying to hold everything together and simply let you hold me. You are not rushing me. You are not demanding that I produce or perform. You are inviting me to breathe, to listen, to be. I do not always know how to find those still waters. Sometimes I confuse activity with purpose, motion with meaning. I run through life trying to prove something, even when I do not know exactly what it is I am chasing. But you gently draw me away from the noise, not with force, but with mercy. You guide me to the quiet not to punish me, but to refresh me. You remind me that rest is not weakness. It is worship. It is trust in motion. So here I am. I am slowing my breath. I am loosening my grip. I am setting down the mental lists, the endless concerns, the constant demands. I am making room to just sit with you, not as a servant with tasks to complete, but as a child who needs their father's presence more than anything else. I do not have to bring words. You are not impressed by my ability to explain. You already know. What you desire most is my willingness to be still with you. God, let your still waters calm the restlessness in me. Let them speak to the places where anxiety has taken root. Let them flow into the cracked soil of my spirit, where dryness has set in from too many days of striving. Let them cleanse the dust that is gathered around my hope. Let them be a mirror where I see you again, not distorted by fear or fatigue, but clearly, lovingly, gently. You lead me not to barren places, but to spaces where I can be replenished, where the rushing pace of the world no longer has the final say, where I remember that life is not found in what I do for you, but in who I am with you. That intimacy was always the invitation. That connection was always the goal. You are not waiting for me at the finish line. You are walking beside me. Every step, every breath, and especially in the pauses. There are things in me that only stillness can heal. Wounds that words can reach. Fatigue that sleep alone does not fix. So in this sacred quiet, I open myself to your restoration, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. I bring you the heaviness that is lingered in my chest, the thoughts that have tangled themselves in knots, the disappointments I have tried to brush past, the grief that surfaces without warning. I give you all of it, not for you to fix like a broken object, but for you to hold like a wounded heart. You are gentle. You are kind. You are slow to anger and quick to show compassion. And I need that compassion now like water on parched land. Father, let stillness be the place where I remember that I am loved, not for what I can offer, not for how strong I appear, not for how consistent I perform, but just because I am yours. You have called me by name. You have chosen me. You have not asked me to earn what you freely give. So I sit in this love, letting it wash over me, letting it quiet the voices that say I am not enough. Your love is enough. Your presence is enough. This stillness is holy because you are in it. You restore my soul not by giving me more to do, but by reminding me who I am when everything else is stripped away. You remind me that I am not forgotten, that I am not too far gone, that I am not invisible in the silence. You speak life again in the pause. You breathe fresh wind into my spirit. In the stillness, you remind me that nothing in your kingdom is wasted, not even the waiting, not even the awareness, not even the quiet. Let me carry this peace into the noise of the day ahead. Let me walk slower, not because I am lazy, but because I am led. Let me speak softer, not because I am unsure, but because I am secure. Let me choose presence over performance, depth over distraction. Let me resist the pressure to produce for validation. and instead rest in the truth that I am already known, already loved, already approved by you. Teach me to return to these still waters often, not just in desperation, but in discipline. Let this become my rhythm, not a rare retreat, but a regular returning. Let stillness be where I start, where I return, where I am anchored again and again. For it is here that my soul is tended. It is here that the burdens grow lighter. It is here that I am reminded of the truth I forget in the rush. You are not just the God of mountaintops or miracles. You are the God of mornings like this, quiet, unhurried, sacred. You are the God of still waters. And today, I drink deeply from your peace. I receive the rest you offer, not with guilt, but with gratitude, and I trust that as I rest in you, you are restoring more than I can see. You are doing a deeper work, one that does not always show on the surface, but transforms me from within. So I will sit with you a little longer. I will breathe in this moment. I will let the silence be enough. I will let your stillness make me whole. And when I rise, I will walk with the memory of this peace etched into my steps, carrying it with me into every moment that follows. Father, as I linger in the stillness you have led me into, I begin to hear something deeper than silence. I hear identity being whispered over me. I hear belonging. I feel something I did not even know I was longing for: assurance, not just the peace of being held, but the confidence of being known. Not the fleeting comfort of a moment, but the unshakable truth of who I am in you. And as that truth begins to rise in me, I remember my name is written, not on a list that changes, not on a record kept by human hands, but in the book of life, where eternity holds the names of those you call your own. Lord, this morning I do not just want to feel close to you. I want to be grounded in the certainty that I belong to you, that I am not just a passerby in your presence, not just a servant at the edge of your courts. I am your child, your beloved, your chosen, and nothing can erase that. Not failure, not fear, not the moments I have doubted or the times I have drifted. You wrote my name, and you do not use pencils. You do not reconsider. You do not regret saving me. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes the weight of life makes me question my worth. The voices of shame still try to speak, telling me I am not enough, not holy enough, not consistent enough to remain in your love. But you do not call me by my mistakes. You call me by my name. And not just any name, the name you gave me when you dreamed me into existence. The name you have always known. The name that echoes through heaven, not because of what I have done, but because of what Jesus did for me. God, I ask that you renew my identity this morning, not with empty affirmations, but with eternal truth. Let me see myself as you see me. Let me walk in the dignity of being yours. Let me live from the security of knowing I do not have to earn my place. I already have it. I do not have to compete for your attention. I have it all the time. I do not have to prove anything. I only have to receive what you have freely given. You see past my performance. You see past the way I carry myself, the words I speak, even the prayers I pray. You see the real me. And still, you chose me, Still, you claimed me. Still, you rejoiced over me with singing. You did not wait for me to fix myself before you wrote my name down. You loved me first. You rescued me first. You declared over me, "This one is mine." Lord, help me to live like I believe that. Let every decision be rooted in that truth. Let every reaction come from that confidence. Let me face this day not wondering if I am enough, but knowing I am redeemed, not walking in fear of judgment, but in gratitude for grace. Let my choices reflect the identity you have sealed over me, not one shaped by the world, but one shaped by eternity. I know there will still be days when I stumble, days when I forget, days when the old labels try to cling to me. But even then, my name remains. Written, secured, unshaken. When the accuser points to my failures, you point to the cross. When I feel like I am losing myself, you remind me that I have already been found. When I feel invisible in this world, you remind me that I am seen by heaven. God, let the truth of my place in your book silence every lie. Let it dismantle every identity I have built on insecurity. Let it pull down the walls I have built to protect myself. Let it teach me to rest not in who I hope to become, but in who you say I already am. Let it free me from striving, from proving, from pretending. Let it anchor me in your unchanging love. And if my name is written there, then I want to live in a way that reflects that honor. I want my life to be a witness of what it means to be known by you. Let my words carry grace. Let my presence bring peace. Let my steps be guided by your Spirit. I do not want to just be saved. I want to walk in the fullness of what salvation means. I want to live like someone who has been marked by mercy, transformed by truth, and set apart for something bigger than myself. Father, remind me that my identity is not fragile. It is not dependent on mood, on circumstance, or on the approval of others. It is written, etched into eternity, held by the one who holds the universe. When I am unsure of who I am, I will return to what you have said. When I feel lost, I will return to the fact that you have never lost sight of me. When I feel like a stranger in the world, I will remember I am a citizen of heaven. Let this identity give me courage. Courage to be kind when it is hard. Courage to speak truth when it costs something. Courage to stay soft when the world tries to make me hard. Courage to walk away from what does not align with who I am in you. I am not just someone passing through life, hoping to be loved. I am someone deeply known, eternally claimed, permanently written into the heart of the one who created me. So today, I stand on this truth. I carry it like a seal over my spirit. I wear it as armor against the doubts and disappointments that try to weigh me down. I rise not with pride, with purpose. I speak not with arrogance, but with authority not my own, but yours. I belong to you, and that changes everything. God, if my name is written in your book, then nothing I face today is bigger than that truth. No challenge can remove it. No failure can delete it. No darkness can overshadow it. Your hand wrote it, and your heart sealed it. Let me live like it matters. Let me love like it is real. Let me move through this day with the quiet confidence of someone whose place is secure, whose name is known, whose future is already held by the one who holds the book. Lord, as I continue to walk through the quiet wilderness of my heart, I bring you the parts of me that still ache in silence. Just as a dry desert longs for rain, my soul reaches for you with desperate thirst. The journey has not grown easier, yet your nearness has become my only oasis. I do not cry out from a place of doubt, but from longing, from the deep, hollow ache that knows you are the only one who can truly fill the emptiness left by life's harsh winds. You, who heard the cries of Hagar when she wandered in the desert with her child, surely hear mine now. I am not lost to you. I am not invisible in your eyes. Even in this desolation, you are God. You see when no one else sees. You hear what no one else hears. I cry not for pity, but for presence. For you, Lord, to flood the dry ground of my spirit with your living water. I bring to you the heaviness I cannot carry alone, the silent worries that lodge in my chest before my feet ever touch the ground each morning, the grief that lingers like an old song I cannot shake, the fear that if I pause too long, it will catch up and consume me. But even now, I choose to lay it all before you, trusting that you do not require me to be unbreakable, to be loved. You do not demand strength from me before you will come. You enter into weakness with such tenderness that I can barely speak of it. You sit with the grieving. You walk with the anxious. You remain with the abandoned. You are the shepherd who finds his lost one not with scolding, but with gentleness. So I do not hide my tears from you, Lord. I do not try to dress up my prayers with pretty words or polished thoughts. I cry out as I am, broken in places I cannot even name. And I trust that you receive every raw syllable of my sorrow as holy. You have never been afraid of the desert. You led your people through it. You spoke to Moses in it. You sustained Elijah in it. You met John the Baptist in it. And you yourself, Lord Jesus, walked into the wilderness to prepare for the mission ahead. So if I find myself in such a place, it is not punishment, it may very well be preparation. I will not despise this season, though it is dry and long. I will listen for your whisper in the silence. I will search for the footprints you left in the sand. I will believe that even here, in what seems barren, life will spring forth again in time. Father, I need you to be near to the places of confusion I still do not know how to pray about. You know them well, the crossroads where logic fails and feelings blur, the doubts that creep in, not loud but persistent, the nights I lie awake questioning whether I am on the right path at all. You are not threatened by my questions. You are not distant from my wrestling. You are not silent in my sorrow. You are near, nearer than my breath, nearer than the shadows on the wall when I feel alone. You have always done your most beautiful work in deserts. That is where you taught trust. That is where you showed provision. That is where you revealed that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from your mouth. So feed me, Lord, not just with answers, but with the assurance of your presence, with the peace that passes understanding, with the courage to stay when I feel like fleeing, with the patience to walk when I would rather run away. I do not need every detail to be solved. I need to know you are in it with me, and I do. I can already feel the stirring, not outside me, but within, a slow and sacred trembling in my spirit that knows you are not far off, that you are bending near, that your hand is reaching through the heat and stillness and shadows. I open my eyes to see you here, not when the desert ends, but even now as it stretches before me. My prayer is no longer just for escape, but for awareness. Let me not miss the miracle in the wilderness, the blessing wrapped in the barren. God, I lay before you those I love who are wandering too, friends and family walking deserts of grief, of diagnosis, of distance from you. I speak their names into the silence now, believing you hear and remember each one. Go to them, Lord. Meet them in the heat of their despair. Bring shade to their weariness. Bring water to their thirst. Let them see that they are not alone in their struggle, not forsaken in their sorrow. Surround them with signs of your goodness today, even the quiet ones, especially the quiet ones. Father, let this desert form something in me that comfort never could. Let it forge depth. Let it grow tenderness. Let it strip away what cannot last and make room for what is eternal. Teach me how to live not in the fear of lack, but in the trust of abundance, your kind of abundance that does not always look like more, but always feels like enough. Let this dry ground become holy, because you have walked here with me. And when the world asks how I survived, let me say with honesty that I was held, that I was heard, that I was sustained not by willpower, but by a God who does not grow weary. Let my life testify not to my own strength, but to your unfailing love. Let it be known that when I was in the desert, I found the well that never runs dry, not in the perfect solution, but in the presence of a faithful God. Lord, I feel the dawn inching closer. The dark is lifting, not because the circumstances have changed, but because I am remembering who you are, remembering that even here, I am not forsaken. Even now, I am being led. Even when I do not feel it, you are forming a path beneath my feet. And so I will rise from this moment. Not because I have everything figured out, but because I know you are with me in it all. You have never left me wandering without direction. You have never allowed pain without purpose. You have never written a desert into my story without already knowing how you would bring life from it. And so I move forward with trembling trust, with a heart made soft by longing, and with eyes looking to the horizon, waiting for the day when I will see all you were doing here. But for now, I walk, not rushed, not afraid, not alone. I walk with you, Lord. And that is enough for today. Lord, as I remain still before you this morning, my heart remembers the quiet spaces you carve in the midst of my chaos, the hush between breaths, the pauses between thoughts. These are not empty moments, but sacred spaces where your voice is most tender and clear. I carry forward the yearning birth in the stillness before, when I realized how even the silence holds your whisper. Now, I long to dwell deeper in that silence, not to escape life, but to hear life from you anew. There are moments, Lord, when the noise of this world tries to claim the first word of my day. the opinions of others, the ticking of the clock, the messages waiting for replies all demand my attention like restless waves. Yet you, Father, are the calm beneath them all. You are not a louder sound, but a deeper presence, and so I come again, not to shout above the waves, but to sink beneath them, into the currents of your peace. I am learning, slowly and gently, that I do not have to begin my day armed with answers. I do not need to wear strength like armor when you offer rest like a river. In the silence I share with you now, I feel no pressure to speak, no demand to perform, only the soft knowing that I am seen, and that being seen by you is enough. Your eyes hold no disappointment, only patience, only invitation. God, there are things in me that I cannot yet name, feelings buried under layers of habit, longings unspoken even to myself. But here in your presence, I no longer fear those things, for in your silence, you teach me how to listen not only to you, but to the ache and joy and tension within. You are not hurried by my confusion. You do not flinch at my broken pieces. You wait with me as I learn to see them too. In this quiet, Lord, I begin to feel again the weight of the world, the beauty of a single breath, the ache of compassion rising from my soul. It is in stillness that empathy returns to me. In a world that races past pain and rushes through grief, you give me permission to feel deeply and sit gently with what is. You make it holy to pause. You remind me that healing begins not with fixing, but with presence, the kind you offer without judgment. Father, help me to carry this quiet into my day, not as a retreat from reality, but as a deeper way of being within it. Teach me to move slowly enough to notice, to see the sacred in the ordinary, to speak words that rise not from my own urgency, but from the still reservoir of your peace. May my actions today be shaped not by reaction, but by reflection in you. Let me walk softly, knowing you walk with me. When the world demands haste, let me remember the strength in waiting. When others rush to speak, remind me of the power of silence. When I am tempted to perform or pretend, draw me back to the unshaken truth that I am already enough in you. For it is in this grounded knowing that I find the courage to be honest, the compassion to be kind, and the humility to be changed. God, I admit, there are times I still resist the silence. I turn to distractions. I fill the void with movement. I seek comfort in control. But you are not offended. You remain steady. You do not withdraw when I wander. You do not leave when I panic. Instead, you wait quiet, constant, unshaken, until I remember that home is not a place or a feeling, but a presence. Yours, in this sacred pause. I release the things I thought I had to control. I open my hands, trembling as they are, and place them again in yours. I do not ask you to fix everything. I simply ask you to stay, to be the steady in my trembling, the anchor in my drifting. I know now that you are not only God in the thunder, but God in the whisper, not only in the miracle, but in the mundane. Let the silence between us grow deeper today. Father, let it become a well I return to, not just in the morning, but in the cracks of my daily life. When I wait in traffic, Let me wait with you when I fold laundry or stand in line. Let me sense your presence. Make the hidden moments holy, the unnoticed hours sacred. Let the rhythm of stillness beat quietly beneath all I do. You do not rush me, Lord, so let me not rush myself. Teach me to value slow faith. Quiet transformation. Unseen obedience. For these are the seeds of a rooted life, a life not swayed by applause or discouraged by silence, a life that finds its worth not in the noise, but in you. When doubt creeps in, and I question whether the quiet path matters, remind me of your Son, who often withdrew to solitary places to pray, who chose silence over spectacle, depth over display. If he needed the stillness, how much more do I? Let me not fear the quiet anymore, but cherish it as a gift only you can give. Father, may this stillness stretch my soul, not shrink it. May it expand my capacity to love, to see, to endure. May it deepen my roots so that when the winds of the day blow fierce, I will not be moved. For I am not planted in productivity, but in presence, not in outcomes, but in obedience, not in performance, but in peace. You meet me here, in the middle of my breath, in the pause between thoughts, in the gentle settling of my spirit. You ask nothing but my presence. And somehow, in giving you that, I receive everything I did not know I was longing for. Clarity, courage, calm. So today, Lord, let the silence speak louder than the noise. Let it echo through my conversations, my choices, my steps. Let others feel the peace I carry and trace it back to you, not to me, to you. Let my life hum quietly with the music of your nearness, and let those who hear it find rest too. I do not need to prove anything today. I do not need to rush ahead or stay behind. I only need to walk with you, to return to the stillness as often as needed, to listen more than I speak, to see more than I strive, to be more than I do. For in the silence with you, I remember who I am, beloved, enough, held. And if the day ahead brings noise, Lord, teach me to return to this well again and again, not as escape, but as anchor, not as refuge from responsibility, but as reminder of who empowers me to carry it. Let this stillness travel with me, tucked in my breath, hidden in my heartbeat, alive in my spirit. For I walk not alone. I walk with the one who speaks through silence, who strengthens through stillness, who shapes me through peace. And that changes everything. God, in the quiet stillness of this unfolding morning, my heart returns to the soft echo of your mercy that carried me through the days behind. It is not the loud thunder of miracles that stirs my soul most deeply, but the gentle, steady whisper of grace, the grace that met me when I failed, that stood by me when I turned away, that called me beloved when I saw nothing worth loving. It is that weightless yet immeasurable grace I carry with me now, like the hush before dawn, like breath before words. And in this moment, Lord, I am not asking for more blessings, but simply the awareness to see the ones already flooding my life unnoticed. because I realize now that grace is not always loud or visible. It does not always come dressed in the robes of triumph or shouts of praise. Sometimes it looks like endurance when I should be collapsed. Sometimes it is a peace that silences the storm inside, even when the winds outside roar louder than ever. It is the strength to keep walking even as the path disappears under my feet. It is you moving through the unseen, the unnoticed, the uncelebrated. And Father, that kind of grace, the kind that holds me up without demanding applause, is the kind I need more than anything. Let me carry it well. Let me not treat your grace as light, as common, as optional. Let me not forget that I wake each day because you willed it, that I rise not because I am strong, but because you are merciful. I do not want to be a passerby in my own life, missing the fingerprints you have left on every door I walk through. Open my eyes, Lord, to the silent wonders of your love, the ways you protect me from dangers I never even knew were coming, the ways you realign my steps without my permission, because you know what destruction lies ahead. Grace does not always ask. Sometimes it intervenes, and I thank you for not always giving me what I ask for, but instead giving me what I truly need. I look back at the moments I called delayed, and now see they were perfectly timed. The doors that did not open when I banged on them with urgency were doors to dead ends. I see now that your grace was not denying me, it was redirecting me. And even when my heart was impatient, your patience never ran out. When my trust wore thin, your grip on me never loosened. That is the weight of grace, is not it? Not a burden to carry, but a truth so immense it humbles even the proudest part of me. It brings me to my knees not out of defeat, but in reverence. Lord, if I am to walk into this day carrying anything, let it be that truth. Let me walk into rooms aware that I enter not alone, but accompanied by the evidence of your favor. Let me speak not from pride, but from a heart that has been cradled by compassion. Let me listen not just with ears, but with the understanding that every soul I encounter is also loved by you, also being shaped by your unseen hand. Remind me that grace is not just a gift to receive, but a posture to extend. Help me to offer it as freely as it was given, even when it costs me my pride, even when it is not returned. Help me to forgive where bitterness wants to grow, not because they deserve it, but because you forgave me first. Help me to be kind not only to the easy and the familiar, but to those who wound and withdraw. That is where grace stretches me into the uncomfortable places, into the tension where love must be louder than pain. I do not want to live a life only comfortable with those who reflect me. I want to carry your grace into spaces that challenge me to grow, to bend, to break my old molds. You did not call me to comfort. You called me to transformation. And transformation takes place when I let go of control. When I lay down the need to always be right, to always be protected, to always win. Lord, I have wasted too many hours defending walls you were trying to tear down, walls of self-righteousness, of old grudges, of comparisons and shame. Let them fall today. Let grace do what only it can do, heal in places I have refused to acknowledge. Shine light into corners I have kept hidden, not so I can boast in being clean, but so I can walk lighter. freer, more open to whatever you have next. Because grace does not just save its sins. It moves us forward. It gives purpose to our scars and meaning to our messes. You waste nothing, Lord. Every hurt redeemed, every loss turned into soil for new things to bloom. Let me trust in that today. Let me not mourn what is behind more than I hope for what is ahead. Let my steps not be dragged by fear, but lifted by expectation. If you are with me, what am I truly lacking? If your grace is the banner over me, then even in weakness, I am more than able. So I ask not for ease, but for presence, not for more, but for awareness. Make me a witness to the grace I have overlooked. Let it echo in my words, ripple through my actions, settle in the spaces where anxiety once ruled. Let it inform how I speak to others, how I carry my responsibilities, how I sit in silence when words fail. Let it be the rhythm of my breath and the lens through which I see this day. Let grace not be a theory but my heartbeat, the defining force of who I am and how I live. Even when today is ordinary, even when nothing seems to shift, remind me that grace is never absent, that even in the repetition of tasks, the mundane of schedules, the stillness of waiting, your mercy is moving. Let me not despise quiet seasons. Let me find you in them. Let me hear you whisper through the stillness what you are preparing me for. I do not need the whole map. I only need the assurance that you are walking with me step by step. And that is enough. Let my eyes stay open, Lord. Let my soul stay soft. Let me marvel at the grace that found me when I was not even looking, that held me when I was not even asking, that still believes in the good you planted in me, even when I doubt its existence. That kind of grace rewrites stories. That kind of grace builds lives worth living. That kind of grace is what I carry into today. Not because I earned it, but because you gave it freely, fully, and forever. Father, as the stillness of morning wraps itself gently around my thoughts, I lean further into the peace that only you can give, the kind of peace that does not wait for storms to stop, but becomes the shelter inside them. In the silence that follows the weight of grace, I find myself yearning for deeper roots in you, not just to feel your nearness, but to be anchored in it, unshaken by whatever winds may rise today. The world moves so quickly, always demanding more, always tugging at my attention, but right here, right now, I choose the quiet of your presence over the noise of everything else. It is in this quiet that I realize how often I chase what was never mine to carry. I gather stress like armor, pick up burdens that were never assigned to me, try to prove my worth through accomplishments instead of resting in the truth that you have already called me worthy. You do not rush me. You do not push me to perform. You simply wait patiently, lovingly, until I remember to slow down and return to you. And so, I pause again, not out of obligation, but out of hunger for what only you can satisfy. Your voice, Lord, is what reorders my chaos. Your touch is what smooths the wrinkles in my soul. Even now, as the world awakens outside my window, I feel you here, not just beside me, but within me. And with each breath I take, I want to breathe out what no longer belongs, anxieties that never bore good fruit, shame that has overstayed its welcome, doubts that have clouded my vision for too long. I want this day to begin not with a to-do list, but with a heart tuned to you. Because when I move with you, there is rhythm. When I walk behind you, there is direction. When I trust in you, even my smallest efforts bear eternal weight. Let this be the kind of day where your spirit whispers louder than fear. Let it be the kind of day where small acts become holy moments, where interruptions turn into divine appointments, where I measure my success not by what I complete, but by how present I am with you and with others. Let me be less concerned with being impressive and more committed to being faithful. Let me remember that faithfulness does not always look like fire. It often looks like consistency in quiet corners. And that is enough for today. I know there will be moments when I forget this truth, when distractions rise like waves and doubts try to anchor me in places I have outgrown. In those moments, remind me that stillness is always available, that returning to you does not require a ceremony, it only takes a breath, a whisper, a turning of my gaze. Let my reflex be to seek you, not to solve everything on my own. Let my first response be to trust, not to panic. I have tried leading myself before, and it only led to emptiness. You are the only compass I want to follow now. God, I surrender again my timing, my plans, my need to have all the answers. Because what is control if not a fragile illusion? I cling to when fear tells me you are not enough, but you are. You always have been. You always will be. Even when I do not understand the way, I am learning to trust the one who does. I do not need to see the whole staircase when I know who is building it. I do not need to understand every delay when I know that your timing has never failed me. So I quiet my striving and rest in the truth that you are still working, even when I feel nothing. Let my heart beat in time with yours today. Let my thoughts align with your wisdom. Let my hands be gentle, my words kind, my eyes attentive to those who need to be seen. Let me be a reflection of your steadiness, not because I have it all together, but because you hold me together. Let those who cross my path today encounter a person who is rooted, not reactive, someone who listens more than speaks, who offers peace instead of pressure, who slows down enough to notice beauty in overlooked places. You have never rushed me into becoming. You shape me slowly, with patience that stretches beyond my understanding. So let me honor your pace. Let me not run ahead trying to arrive at destinations you have not called me to yet. Let me stay present in the process, finding joy not just in the arrival, but in each step that leads there. You are just as present in the waiting as you are in the breakthrough. You are just as holy in the process as you are in the promise. Teach me to see stillness as strength, not as weakness. The world celebrates hustle, but you often meet us in the hush. Let me be still enough to hear you when you say, "This is the way, walk in it." Let me pause long enough to feel conviction without shame, to receive correction without defense, to absorb truth without needing to twist it. I do not want to live half aware of what you are doing. I want to be fully awake to every nuance of your presence, not just in the grand moments, but in the unseen, uncelebrated ones. And when I encounter difficulties today, because they always come in one form or another, help me not to panic, but to posture myself in trust. Help me to remember that peace is not found in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of the one who overcame it. Help me to speak peace over my circumstances instead of repeating fear. Let me declare your promises louder than my doubts. Even when my feelings have not caught up yet, your truth is not subject to my emotions. It stands firm, unwavering, timeless. I want to walk through this day not the clenched jaw and a heavy heart, but with open hands and a soft spirit. I want to respond, not react, to love without needing to be loved back, to give without needing recognition, to serve without needing reward, because that is the kind of freedom your presence brings, the freedom to love without limits, to forgive without holding back, to live without fear of not being enough. Because you are enough for me, and that is more than enough to steady me. Let this be the day I stop looking for permission to be at peace. You have already given it. Let this be the day I stop waiting for perfect circumstances to find contentment. You have already given me yourself. What more do I need? In the quiet I choose to remain, grounded not in how I feel, but in who you are. In the stillness I hear you whisper again, be still and know that I am God. And I believe it, maybe not perfectly, maybe not always with ease, but enough to keep showing up, enough to let go of what weighs me down, enough to begin again with you today, God. As the quiet of the early morning deepens and my spirit leans into the stillness of your presence, I carry forward every word, every surrender, every whispered ache laid bare before you just moments ago. Like rivers merging into the sea, these prayers flow onward unbroken, unforgotten into your eternal embrace. The longing for you has not faded. If anything, it has only grown more tender, more vivid. And now, in this continued breath of intimacy, I come again, not to repeat what has been said, to rest more deeply in the quiet truth of being known by you. You know, Lord, how fragile I feel when the world begins to stir again. The moment the light hints at the horizon, my mind races forward to what must be done, who I must become today, how I must navigate all the faces and voices waiting just beyond this prayer. But before I meet them, I meet you here, and in this place, I am reminded that I am not a machine of accomplishments, but a soul made for communion. I do not have to prove anything to be loved. I only have to be still and remember that I am already yours. So I pause here again, Father, to open my hands in a gesture of surrender. Everything I thought I needed to hold on to my ambitions, my defenses, my pride, I place at your feet again, not out of fear, but out of deep trust. You are not a distant God, demanding perfection. You are the one who bends low to gather my broken pieces, who wraps wisdom in kindness and discipline in mercy. You lift my gaze when shame has bowed my head too long. You speak not just to my efforts, but to my essence. And in that holy gaze, I begin to believe that maybe, just maybe, I am enough because you are enough in me. Teach me, Lord, how to walk through this day not by force but by faith. Teach me how to listen with compassion before I speak with conviction. Help me to choose grace where my instinct chooses defense, and to choose peace where I am tempted to stir strife. Show me how to move through rooms with a presence that reflects not my mood, but your spirit within me. Let me be slow to anger, quick to forgive, and always aware of the sacredness in the people I meet, even the ones who may not see the sacredness in me. I know I will stumble. I know I will forget, react, retreat, say things I later regret, and wonder why my heart aches without warning. But even then, I ask you not to let shame take root. Remind me instead of the quiet resilience you have been nurturing in me, the strength that looks like gentleness, the courage that resembles compassion. Let me see each moment of weakness not as failure, but as invitation and opening through which I return again to you. For you are not shocked by my frailty. You simply wait for me in it. Let me see the ordinary as holy today, not just the prayers whispered before dawn, but the dishes washed in silence, the errands run with tired feet, the smiles exchanged at stoplights, the patience mustered in long lines. Let none of it be wasted. Let none of it be beneath your notice. Let me believe that sacredness is not reserved for stages or pulpits or big, dramatic gestures. Let me trust that the greatest acts of faith may be the smallest ones, choosing not to gossip, choosing to hold my tongue, choosing to love when it costs me my pride. God, steady my emotions when they threaten to pull me under. You know the soft spots in me, the unhealed places, the echoes of old wounds, the buttons that get pushed too easily. Be my grounding, be my anchor. Let the winds of this day not toss me around like a leaf in the storm. Let them press me deeper into your truth, into your word, into the center of who you say I am. Let the chaos outside push me closer to the calm within. And for those I love, I bring them to you now, not with desperation, but with hope. You see their struggles, their questions, their unseen battles. Reach them where I cannot. Speak what I cannot say. Do what I cannot do, whether near or far. Let your presence cover them like the softest blanket, warming them in the cold places I can reach. If they have forgotten how to pray, remind them gently through some unexpected mercy. If they have lost faith, whisper truth into their silence. Let them encounter you in ways they did not know they needed. And for those who do not love me, for those who have wounded me with words, withheld kindness, or turned away when I needed their presence, teach me how to carry them in prayer without bitterness. Teach me to love without expecting apology. Not because they deserve it, but because you loved me when I did not deserve it. Let me remember that holding on to resentment only weighs down my own soul. Free me from the prison of unforgiveness. Not to forget what happened, but to be free from the need to win, to be right, to prove your justice is better than mine, and your timing, though it tests me, is always perfect. In the quiet of this continued moment, I ask you to tend to what lies beneath the surface. The parts of me even I do not fully understand, the griefs unnamed, the longings buried under business, the questions I am too afraid to ask aloud. You already know them, and you are not intimidated by their depth. You welcome the complexity. You walk willingly into the tangled spaces of my heart and bring order, not through control, but through comfort. You speak into the chaos, and it begins to make sense. Not always in a way I understand, but in a way that brings peace beyond logic. So even as this new day rises around me, I rise with a quiet strength not born of my own striving, but from the confidence that I do not walk alone. Every breath I take is already wrapped in your grace. Every decision I face is already accompanied by your wisdom. Every burden I carry is already lightened by your presence. This does not mean I will never feel fear or pain, but it means I will never feel them alone. It means that even in the valley, I will walk with a steady step because you are near. Keep me attentive today, God, not just to the noise, but to the gentle nudges of your spirit. Let me see the person behind the mask. Let me hear the story behind the silence. Let me be the one who notices when no one else does. Let me live in such a way that others feel seen, not because I am perfect, but because I am present. Because I have made room in my soul to carry a little bit of their sorrow, their story, their sacredness. And as I go forth, let me not chase after what the world calls success. Let me chase after what you call faithful. Let me build not a life that looks impressive from the outside, but one that is rooted, honest, and whole on the inside. Let me measure my day not by what I achieved, but by how I loved, not by how I was seen, but by who I saw. Let my legacy be not applause, but peace. Not recognition, but transformation. A quiet echo of your love that lingers long after the words are spoken. God, as the stillness of this morning stretches quietly into the spaces of my soul, I remain in awe of the journey you are unfolding within me. The echoes of my whispered hopes and fears from before still linger in the atmosphere, and I feel the weight of your presence, gently guiding me further into the light. Nothing in this moment is rushed, nothing is wasted, because you are a God who meets me in both the silence and the storm. And right now, I surrender to the stillness once again, asking you to carry me deeper into your will. You have been teaching me that peace is not found in perfect circumstances, but in surrendered hearts. I used to search for comfort in outcomes I could control. But you have been showing me that true comfort flows only from trust. So here I am again, letting go of the reins I so often grip with trembling hands. I do not want to orchestrate a life that looks successful on the outside, but feels hollow on the inside. I want the kind of life that breathes purpose in every corner, even the hidden ones. I want to be built from the inside out by the gentle shaping of your spirit. As the hours ahead begin to stir with responsibility and demands, I ask for one thing above all: help me stay present. It is easy for my mind to sprint ahead, for my heart to anxiously wander into places not meant for today. But you, Lord, are in this moment, not in the illusions of yesterday or the fears of tomorrow. So keep me rooted here. Let my hands not only work, but bless. Let my eyes not only look, but truly see. Let my heart not only beat, but feel the depth of your nearness with each breath I take. I know I will face voices today, some from outside, some from within. Voices that try to tell me I am not enough, that I must strive harder. Run faster. Prove more. But your voice, Lord, is the one I choose to anchor myself to. It speaks differently. It tells me I am beloved before I achieve. It reminds me that rest is not weakness. It offers correction wrapped in kindness. Conviction clothed in mercy. Let your voice rise above the noise. Like a melody that steadies my soul and calls me home again. Help me to respond today rather than react. When I feel misunderstood, let me seek clarity instead of revenge. When I am tempted, judge. Let me remember the grace I have been given. When I encounter rudeness or coldness, let me not return it, but respond with dignity and calm. I do not want to mirror the chaos around me. I want to reflect the calm you have placed within me. Let me be a resting place for others, not a storm they have to navigate through. Strengthen my inner world so that what flows from me is not shaped by pressure but by peace. Give me the courage to set boundaries where they are needed, the humility to admit when I have overstepped, and the tenderness to repair what has been broken. Teach me that healing is not just for me to receive, but for me to give to offer in every conversation. Every glance, every act of unseen love. Let me not grow tired of sowing goodness, even when I do not immediately see a harvest. God, I ask that you deepen my awareness of what truly matters. I do not want to be so distracted by urgency that I miss the sacred. Remind me to look up, to notice the sky, the kindness in a stranger's face, the beauty woven into ordinary things. Remind me to linger in laughter, to cherish the quiet moments that slip past unnoticed when I rush. Teach me again that nothing is too small for you to use, that even my smallest gestures can carry eternal weight when done with love. I lift to you the people I will encounter today, those I know well, and those I may only pass by for a moment. Let me not reduce them to inconveniences or tasks. Let me honor their stories, even when I do not know them. Let my presence be a balm, not a burden. Let my words be seasoned with gentleness. Let my silence be filled with attentiveness. Where there is division, make me an instrument of peace. Where there is grief, let me carry compassion. Where there is loneliness, let me offer connection, however simple it may be. I release the pressure to perform or impress, and I rest instead in the quiet strength of being fully known by you. I do not need to be loud to be heard by heaven. I do not need to be seen by crowds to be seen by you. That truth settle into every part of me that still longs for validation, and calm the anxious corners of my heart that seek applause. Your approval is enough. Your love is not earned. Your presence is not conditional. In that truth, I find rest for my striving spirit. And when weariness begins to whisper throughout the day, calling me into discouragement or defeat, remind me that I can return to this place within, that I can always pause, breathe, and reach for you again, that even in the chaos, I carry this quiet with me this morning, prayer echoing softly in my spirit like a compass pointing me back to grace. Let this day be one not marked by perfection, but by presence. Let me not escape from difficulty, but grow through it. Let me not chase blessings, but become a blessing. Let me not fear the unknown, but walk bravely into it with the one who goes before me, walks beside me, and strengthens me from within. For every breath I take, every step I choose, Every word I speak, let them all be touched by the hand of the divine. Let nothing about this day be wasted. Not the waiting, not the uncertainty, not the quiet tasks or the loud conversations, not the interruptions or the routine. I place them all in your hands, Lord, and I trust that you will make something holy out of even the most mundane things. For where you are, there is purpose, and you are here. You are here now, Lord. As the previous thoughts fade into the gentle stillness of my spirit, I bring before you the quiet H of waiting. You know, better than anyone, how often I have wrestled with time, my own sense of urgency clashing with your divine pace. But today, I do not want to rush. I want to learn how to wait with grace. I want to sit in the silence and discover that the pause is not punishment, but preparation. Because in the stillness, something holy unfolds. There is a sacred rhythm to your will, one I cannot always understand, but I long to trust it more deeply. I have come to realize that waiting is not absence, but intimacy, not delay, but devotion. I think of the seed beneath the soil, unseen yet never forgotten, being nurtured by what no eye can see. That is what I desire for my soul, to be cultivated by faith while I wait for what I cannot yet hold. Help me not to despise small beginnings or slow answers. Let me find your presence in the pause. God, in the past, I have tried to fill every silence with striving, every unanswered prayer with noise. But the deeper I go with you, the more I see how you speak in whispers and how you move in shadows before revealing light. Teach me to embrace this mystery, to honor the quiet hours as much as the breakthroughs. Help me not to chase closure, but to cherish communion. Because when I wait with you, the waiting is no longer empty. Let patience rise within me like a quiet river, smoothing the rough edges of my need for control. Let trust become a melody that drowns out the dissonance of fear. And let each day be another step into surrender, where I do not need to see the outcome to believe you are working. Show me how to hold my hopes in open hands. I release the timeline I have created, the calendar I have obsessed over, the deadlines I have tried to impose on divine things. I let them go now, because you are not late, and I am not forgotten. Father, some days I ache with questions, but I have learned that faith is not the absence of questions, is bringing them to you again and again, and trusting that even without answers, I am not alone. You are in the waiting room with me, not outside of it. And that is everything. That changes the posture of my heart from restless to restful, from impatient to peaceful. It is in this posture that I begin to see what you have been forming in me all along. I ask for discernment, not just to know what I should do, but to sense when I should stay still. There is courage in motion, but also courage in stillness. Give me wisdom to know when to step and when to stay, and peace to abide in either. Let my character grow deeper roots than my ambitions. Let the soil of waiting produce a garden of strength I would not have known otherwise. I do not want to be someone who only trusts when doors open. I want to trust you in the hallway too. There is beauty in the unfinished. There is glory in the growing. Remind me that nothing is wasted with you. Even time becomes sacred when it is surrendered. Even delays become divine when seen through your eyes. Let me live this day not by the ticking of the clock, but by the rhythm of your grace. Let my breath match your timing, and my heartbeat echo the patience of heaven. I lift up every longing I have tucked away, every prayer I have buried because I was afraid it was taking too long. I bring them out into the light of this moment. I know you see them, and that is enough. I won't measure your love by what I receive. I will measure it by who you are: constant, faithful, unchanging. In this, I find peace. So I begin this day not in striving, but in surrender, not in anxious doing, but in holy being. I choose to believe that even now, you are orchestrating all things for good. Even now, you are closer than I imagine, and even now, you are preparing more than I can see. So I breathe, and I rest, and I wait not with bitterness, but with blessing. Because when I wait with you, I never wait in vain, God. Even as I sit in the stillness of this sacred hour, I can feel the gentle echo of yesterday's gratitude still lingering in my soul. The words that spilled out of my heart in the quiet darkness have not faded, but have deepened into something even more sacred, an awareness that you are not only near, but profoundly invested in my every breath. And so, as my spirit continues this unfolding conversation with you, I enter this new morning with my heart laid bare, open and longing for your whisper. There are no curtains between us now. You see through the walls I did not know I had built. You meet me at the places I was too afraid to admit were trembling. And still, you stay. Still, you pour mercy over the jagged edges. Still, you call me beloved when the world calls me unworthy. What manner of love is this, that you should not only endure my weakness, but choose to dwell there? I can hardly understand it, Lord, but I choose to rest in it. I choose to receive the undeserved peace you offer me with open hands. Even when my thoughts are restless, I choose to believe that my value is not determined by what I produce, but by who I am in your eyes. Let me wake up today remembering that I was already chosen before I began to strive. I was already loved before I knew what it meant to belong. God, strip away the need for validation from people who cannot see the fullness of who I am. Let my security not be shaken by fleeting opinions or momentary praise. Let my identity be built firmly on your unchanging the truth that says I am fearfully and wonderfully made, not by accident, not as an afterthought, but with intention and divine artistry. You breathed life into me on purpose, and that is more than enough. Teach me how to walk slowly through this day, not with hurried steps or anxious striving, but with the confidence of one who is being led by a trustworthy shepherd. Let me pause in the middle of routines and responsibilities to notice your fingerprints on the sunrise, on the face of a stranger, in the quiet moment when no one else sees. Help me not to rush past the beauty you have hidden in the ordinary. I do not want to miss you, Lord. I do not want to be so consumed by my own plans that I become blind to the miracles unfolding around me. Open my spiritual eyes. Sharpen my inner hearing. Help me to recognize your voice even in the gentle nudge, the soft correction, the unexpected detour. Let me live with holy curiosity today, willing to be interrupted if it means encountering you more deeply. And when I face moments of difficulty, Give me a steadfast spirit. Remind me that hardship is not always a sign of failure, but often the path through which endurance is born. You never promised ease, but you did promise to be with me. That promise is enough. So when the winds rise and the waters threaten to consume, help me to hold fast to the anchor of your presence. Father, protect me from bitterness. When others misunderstand me, betray me, or speak against me, do not let resentment take root. Instead, cultivate compassion in my heart, a compassion sees their pain behind the offense, a love that refuses to retaliate. Let my life be marked by forgiveness, not because I always feel it, but because I have known what it is to be forgiven by you. Strengthen my boundaries, Lord, but keep my heart soft. Teach me how to love without losing myself. Show me how to serve without becoming resentful. May I give freely, not because I need to be needed, but because I know I am already held. Remind me that I am not responsible for saving anyone. That is your role alone. All I can do is be faithful and trust you with the outcome. If I fall today, help me to rise without shame. If I speak harshly, let me repent quickly. If I forget you, draw me back with gentleness. And when I feel like I have nothing left to offer, remind me that you never required perfection, only presence. You never asked me to be flawless, only to be faithful in showing up with my whole heart. Let today be a canvas you paint on, God. Use my words to bring healing, my hands to serve humbly, and my presence to reflect your grace. Let me be a vessel through which of others encounter the comfort you gave me. Let my life preach a gospel of hope without ever needing a microphone. May my quiet obedience speak louder than any performance ever could. And when I reach the end of this day, let me look back not with regret, but with reverent wonder. Let me see how you turned mundane moments into sacred ones. Let me see how your unseen hand stitched mercy into my mistakes. Let me see how you were moving in every detail, even when I was not aware. Let me lie down tonight with a peaceful soul, knowing that I walked with you, talked with you, and grew a little deeper in love with you. You have always been my beginning, and you will be my end. But what astounds me most is that you long to dwell in the middle too, not just in the mountaintop encounters, but in the Tuesday mornings, in the traffic jams, in the messy kitchens, in the waiting rooms, in the laughter and in the heartbreak. You do not demand grandeur. You simply desire to be invited in. So this morning, I open the door of my heart again. I open it wider than I did yesterday. I open it with trembling hands, knowing you will meet me there not with condemnation, but with kindness. Come into every room, Lord. Rearrange what needs to be reordered. Sweep out what no longer belongs. Fill the empty spaces with your light, and let nothing remain untouched by your love. This is how I want to begin, always beginning again with you. Always discovering there is more of you to know, more of me to surrender. Let this never grow stale. Let the fire stay lit. Let the hunger deepen. Let the roots grow stronger in the soil of your faithfulness. And even if I do not see the fruit today, let me believe it is growing beneath the surface. You are the God who does not rush. You are the God who waits beside me when I feel behind. You are the God who restores the time I thought I wasted. So let me trust that you are not finished. Not with me, not with my story, not with the pieces that still feel undone. You are still writing, still breathing, still transforming me moment by moment. And if all I do today is remember that, it will be enough. Lord, as the gentle thread of your presence continues to weave through the fabric of this morning, I find myself surrendering once again, not from weariness, but from wonder. The deeper I go into your nearness, the more I realize how vast and unfathomable your love truly is. You are not just the God who answers prayer. You are the God who is the answer. Every breath drawn in this sacred hour echoes with the assurance that I am not walking through this life alone, not even for a moment. And now, Father, let my heart rest entirely in the quiet power of trust. The world teaches me to hustle, to strive, to build walls of logic and towers of independence. But you gently pull me away from the noise and into the simplicity of being held. You remind me that I do not need to understand every step ahead, for you are already there. You are the author who writes with clarity even when I see only scribbles. You are the shepherd who guides me through fog as easily as through light. There is no chaos in you, no confusion, only certainty born from eternal wisdom. Sometimes my heart wrestles against the unknown, clings too tightly to what is predictable, but you are patient even with my clumsy trust. You do not scold my doubt. You invite it into the light, where it can be gently reshaped into deeper faith. And I welcome that process. Mold me in the silence. Shape me in the stillness. Let my surrender not be an act of desperation, but of reverence. May the loosening of my grip not feel like loss, but like worship. When I look ahead and cannot see how the pieces will come together, let my soul remain unmoved, not because the answers have arrived, but because you are still God in the waiting, still holy in the in-between, still faithful in the tension. I choose to rest not in what I see, but in who you are. You are the ground beneath my trembling steps, and the hand that steadies my every motion. Lord, if trust is the currency of faith, teach me to spend it freely. Let me invest it in every promise you have spoken, every word you have whispered in the hidden hours, every seed you have planted that has not yet broken through the soil. Let me not demand proof before praise, results before reverence. Teach me to worship while I wait, to rejoice while I lack, to smile while I struggle, not because of denial, but because of divine confidence. I trust you, not because the road is smooth, because your presence is enough. As this day stretches before me like an unwritten page, I will not panic over the ink. I will not fear the unexpected. For you are the one who pens my purpose with grace, even in chapters that feel uncertain. When disappointments visit, I will not curse the moment, but welcome your comfort. When plans unravel, I will not despair, but look for the thread of your intention, weaving something better. When silence feels like absence, remind me that some of your most profound work happens without noise. Let this trust not remain internal. Let it become visible through kindness that flows when I have little left to give, through patience that endures when everything in me wants to rush. Let it echo in my conversations, my choices, my stillness. Let people sense not my control, but my surrender, not my certainty, but my anchored faith. For this kind of peace only makes sense when it flows from something eternal. Father, protect this sacred confidence from erosion in a world of shifting loyalties and temporary comforts. Let my stability come not from outcomes, but from intimacy with you. When people disappoint me, let me remember that you never will. When systems fail, let me remember that your kingdom never crumbles. When resources run dry, let me remember that you are the well that never ceases to flow. You are the source of everything I need, and so my posture is not scarcity but surrender. Teach me not to pray for ease, but for endurance, not for escape, but for courage, not for shortcuts, but for depth. I do not want a life without hardship if it means I miss knowing you more deeply. I would rather walk through fire holding your hand than stroll through ease without you. Because where you are, there is fullness, and where you dwell, even the valleys are sacred. So as the sun lifts higher in the sky, I walk forward not with plans carved in stone, but with a heart softened by trust. Whatever comes, let me greet it with the assurance that nothing escapes your notice. Every closed door, every unexpected twist, every detour, it is all known to you. Let me not waste time asking why, but instead ask, where are you in this, Lord? For I know you are never far. Thank you for being so constant. Thank you for waiting for me when I have wandered in my thoughts. Thank you for catching my tears before they fall and hearing the words I am too tired to speak. You do not require eloquence, only honesty. You do not need my strength, only my surrender. You do not ask me to pretend, only to come. I bring you my fragile faith and lay it at your feet again this morning, not because I fear it is not enough, but because I know you make all things whole. Take what is broken and breathe life into it. Take what is anxious and saturate it with calm. Take what is guarded and teach it to open again. You are not threatened by my vulnerability. You are drawn to it, because you are the God who lifts the lowly and binds the wounds of the humble. Let every step I take today be grounded in trust. When I speak, let it be from a place of peace. When I act, let it flow from the still waters of surrender. When I listen, let it be with a heart that is not rushing to fix, but willing to simply be present. When I pause, let it be a sacred pause, one that honors you. And tonight, when the day folds into evening, let my heart remember that it was never my performance that held me together. It was always your faithfulness. It was never my wisdom that made things work. It was always your hand behind the scenes. And no matter how this day unfolds, I will choose again and again to trust, not because it is easy, but because it is holy. Let me carry this posture of trust, not just through this morning, but through the seasons to come. When new storms rise, let this stillness rise with them. When the way becomes unfamiliar, let this confidence become my compass. When I forget again, and I will draw me back not with guilt, but with grace. Call me again to this holy place, where trust is not a risk, but a refuge. Where you, Lord, are not a distant figure, but my very breath. Where every moment becomes sacred, because you are in it. And so I breathe deeply once more and step forward, not in fear, but in faith. Lord, as the thread of yesterday's hope gently winds its way into this new morning, I lean into you once more, not because I doubt your nearness, but because I need to remind my heart how constant you truly are in the hush of this early hour, when the world has not yet begun to clamor and the noise of life still slumbers. I return to this quiet place, where my spirit listens more clearly and my soul remembers as it was made to depend on you. I carry forward the awareness that every breath is mercy and every moment is a gift to be used with sacred purpose. So often, Lord, my footsteps falter not because of the storms I face, but because of the weight of questions I carry in silence. The quiet battles within me are not always visible to the world, doubts that creep in, fears that whisper too convincingly, and weariness that settles deep into my bones. And yet, you meet me here, not with condemnation but with gentleness. You never scold me for being tired. You only remind me that I can rest while still walking. I can lean while still pressing forward, and I can trust even when I cannot yet see the full road ahead. Let me not crave easy days but purposeful ones. Grant me strength that is not measured by force but by endurance. Teach me that faith does not always roar. Sometimes it is the soft persistence of standing up again when I would rather stay down. I do not need a life absent of challenge. I only need the assurance that you are with me in the midst of it. Anchor me in the truth that when I am uncertain, you are not. When I am wavering, you remain steady. And when I reach the end of my own wisdom, you are already there, inviting me to trust deeper. Father, give me courage that is tender, not brash. Let it be the kind of courage that speaks with kindness when I am misunderstood, that chooses silence when words might wound, and that rises with quiet confidence when the world tells me to sit down. Shape in me a heart that does not seek applause, but seeks to serve. Let me be unshaken, not because I am invincible, but because I am rooted in something greater than myself. Let my joy not be dependent on the sun shining, but on the sun raining. As I face this day, with its unknown twists and inevitable interruptions, may I not measure my success by checked boxes or completed tasks. Let success be found in the way I love, the patience I extend, and the faithfulness I bring to small things. Remind me that you often do your greatest work in the unnoticed moments, in the spaces between meetings, in the pauses between conversations. Give me eyes to see what is eternal beneath what is urgent, and a heart willing to pause for the holy interruptions you place in my path. Even now, Lord, I feel your invitation to unclench my fists and open my hands. I do not have to hold all things tightly. You are not asking me to control everything, only to be faithful with what I have been entrusted. So I surrender the burdens. I was never meant to carry the opinions of others, the outcomes I cannot orchestrate, the timing I so desperately try to dictate. I lay them at your feet, not out of resignation, but in sacred trust. Build in me the discipline of peace, a posture of inner stillness that is not shaken by outward noise. Let me be someone who walks into rooms and carries calm, not because I have no troubles, but because I am tethered to peace himself. Teach me to respond, not react, to listen more than I speak, and to bless even those who do not bless in return. Let grace be my default, not my exception. You know my responsibilities today. You see the emails, the conversations, the errands, the meetings, the expectations stacked quietly on my shoulders. You know the ones I worry about, the decisions I hesitate to make, the relationships that ache for healing. Yet even here, you whisper, one thing at a time, one moment at a time. And I remember that grace is not just enough for the day, it is enough for the next breath. Keep me from measuring myself against others. Deliver me from the endless comparison that drains joy and dulls purpose. Let me look to you for affirmation, not to the shifting metrics of culture or the fleeting praise of people. Remind me that my worth is not tied to performance, but to presence, your presence in me. My presence with others, the holy presence of just being here, alive and willing. If I fail today, may I fail forward learning, growing, reaching. If I succeed, may I remain humble, aware that every good and perfect gift flows from you. Let me never be too consumed with progress that I miss people, and never too fixated on the destination that I neglect the sacredness of the journey. Lord, thank you for not rushing me, for not demanding perfection, but inviting honesty, for not requiring strength, but offering it. I step into today not with a list of demands, but with a heart ready to respond. Whatever comes, I know I will not face it alone, and that knowledge is the soil in which my peace grows, the foundation upon which I build my yes. Let me walk slowly enough to notice wonder. Let me speak words that build instead of break. Let me make room in my schedule for the divine detours you arrange. And above all, let me live this day not in pursuit of control, but in pursuit of communion with you, with others, and with the quiet truth that even the most ordinary moments can be extraordinary when offered to you with an open heart. I do not need more certainty today. I need more surrender. I need to remember again and again that you are enough, and in you. So Anna, may my soul lean into that truth, breathe it in, and carry it gently into every place my feet will go. Father, as I continue to rest in the truth that you are enough, I find my heart longing for more than just peace. I find myself yearning for wisdom, not the kind the world parades in loud headlines or fleeting philosophies, but the wisdom that begins in holy fear and deep reverence of you, the kind that sits quietly in the soul, sifting motives, whispering truth, and guiding steps with clarity when confusion surrounds me. It is not about knowing everything. It is about knowing what matters most and being still enough to hear when you speak it. And so, Lord, I lean into you again, drawing from the gentle trust that you have never once failed to guide a heart that sincerely asks. Yesterday's strength was enough for yesterday, but today I need your direction anew. I ask not just to be carried, but to be taught, not only to be held, but to be formed, molded into someone who walks in your ways, even when the way is narrow or unclear. Grant me the discernment to tell what is eternal from what is temporary, what is right from what is merely popular, and what is from you versus what simply feels convenient. There are crossroads I do not yet see, but you have already mapped them out. There are voices I will encounter, some kind, some critical, some confusing, and in the midst of them all, I ask for the grace to discern your voice above every other. Remind me that it does not always shout. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, tucked inside a moment of stillness, or hidden within an unexpected detour. Let me not miss your leading, because I expected thunder when you chose silence. I surrender my need to always understand. Instead, I ask for trust to move when you say go, and patience to stay when you say wait. Give me the courage to obey, even when the outcome is uncertain. Let obedience not be a duty, but a devotion, not a burden, but a joy. Help me to remember that delayed obedience is still disobedience, and that the safest place I can be is in the center of your will, even if it is unfamiliar, uncomfortable, or unseen. When anxiety creeps in through decisions I must make, remind me that I am not making them alone. You are the God who goes before, the shepherd who walks beside, and the Father who stands behind with unwavering love. When I feel overwhelmed by options, help me to pause long enough to listen, not to the noise around me, but to the Spirit within me. Let my first response be to pray, not to plan. Let my first instinct be to seek, not to solve. Give me wisdom that looks like humility, willing to admit when I do not know, and eager to learn from even the simplest places. Let me find your voice not only in scripture and sermons, but in sunrise and silence, in children and strangers, in trials and unexpected grace. Teach me that wisdom is not having all the right answers, but asking the right questions and being brave enough to wait for your reply. I pray for clarity in my relationships today. Help me to discern where to invest, where to release, when to speak, and when to simply love in quiet presence. Give me eyes to see beneath the surface, to recognize the pain behind someone's anger, the insecurity behind someone's pride, the loneliness behind someone's smile. Let discernment lead me to compassion, not criticism, to intercession, not irritation. And in the choices that come, some small, some shaping the course of my future, let me choose based not on fear or pressure, but from peace. Let that peace be the umpire of my heart, ruling over every hesitation and guiding me through uncertainty with confidence that does not come from myself, but from you. Teach me to walk slower if that is what wisdom requires, to speak softer if that is what love demands, and to let go quicker if that is what freedom needs. If pride begins to rise in me, whether from success or the illusion of control, strip it gently. Remind me that wisdom is born in the soil of surrender, that real strength is quiet and rooted, and that is better to be faithful in hidden places than celebrated in hollow ones. Make my heart unshakable not because of its own resolve, but because it is anchored in the one who is unchanging. Give me wisdom in how I spend my time today. Help me to choose what nurtures my soul, what blesses others, and what bears fruit that lasts beyond the moment. Let me be disciplined enough to say no when I must, and brave enough to say yes when it matters. Teach me that discernment is not just about avoiding wrong, but about recognizing the best in the presence of the good. Lord, I also ask for wisdom in my thoughts. Let my mind not be a battlefield of self-doubt, overthinking, or fear of the unknown. Guard it with truth, protect it with perspective, Renew it with your word so that my actions flow from a place of integrity. Let me take every thought captive, every lie exposed by light, and every anxious spiral interrupted by your quiet assurance. Thank you that you never withhold wisdom from those who ask sincerely. Thank you that you are not a distant deity demanding perfection before guidance is given, but a loving Father who delights in shaping our lives gently, purposefully, with infinite care. You are not impatient with my questions. You are not frustrated with my need for clarity. You are faithful, kind, and near, always willing to lead one step at a time. So I step forward today not with arrogance, but with awareness, aware of my need for you, aware of the sacredness in every decision, and aware that wisdom is not a destination, but a companion on the journey. I do not ask for a spotlight, only for a lamp to my feet. I do not ask for fame, only for fruit. And I do not ask for ease, only for the ability to walk rightly with you beside me. Let this be a day shaped by insight, not impulse. Let my choices align with what is true, not simply what is tempting. And let my life reflect not just what I believe, but whom I trust. May others encounter not my cleverness, but your wisdom alive in me a quiet testimony to a life led by something deeper than instinct and higher than intellect. Lord, make me wise not so I can be impressive, but so I can be useful. Let every decision I make today, whether seen or unseen, carry the weight of heaven's perspective and the fragrance of heaven's peace. Let me move through this day as one who is led, not driven, shaped, not shaken, called, not confused, and above all, let your wisdom be my compass, my comfort, and my constant light. God, as I sit with you in this final quiet moment of our long morning journey, I feel the weight of all that has been said, lifted, and trusted. I have poured out joys and longings, fears and gratitude, pleas and praises. And still, somehow, there is more to bring, more to uncover, more to feel in this sacred nearness. The soul, it seems, never runs dry when it abides in you. There is always more room for trust, always more room for peace, always more of you to know and welcome. So now, Father, I simply rest here unrushed, unguarded. My heart is no longer trying to wrestle for answers, no longer striving to earn your favor. It is just here, quiet and open, like a flower leaning into the morning sun, like earth after rain, soft and ready. There is something holy about this stillness, a peace not pressed into me by external ease, grown slowly through communion. You have not solved every burden, but you have taught me to carry them differently. You have not erased the unknowns, but you have shown me how to walk with courage in their presence. I bring to you now not a list, but a whisper, not a request, but a presence. Just me and just you. I let go of the need to do or say anything grand. Because, Lord, I have come to realize it is not always the loud prayers that shift the atmosphere, it is the quiet yielding of a heart fully known and fully safe in your embrace. Thank you for being the God who stays, not only when I am strong and composed, But when I am weary and wordless too, there is no corner of this day I want to walk without you. No task too small for your attention. No emotion too messy for your comfort. No relationship too complex for your wisdom. No weakness too hidden for your grace. You meet me not in the mask I wear, but in the rawness I often try to hide. And you do not look away. You draw near. You reach into the unspoken places and breathe life where I thought there was only surviving. I have no need to pretend in your presence. What a relief, Lord, to be fully seen and still fully loved. As I go forward, let me not forget what it means to begin my day with you, not just in moments of prayer, but in the posture of my whole life. Let every breath be worship. Let every glance become an invitation for awareness. Let every interruption become an altar. Let my mind return to you like a river returns to its source. Let my choices flow not from pressure, but from peace. Let my words build, not break. Let my eyes see with grace, not judgment. Let my hands extend care, not control. And let my steps echo trust, not fear. Thank you for being the steady presence beneath my shifting emotions. Thank you for being the unchanging anchor in a world that never stops moving. Thank you for reminding me that even when I do not feel strong, I can still be faithful. Even when I do not feel brave, I can still show up. And even when I feel empty, I am not without value. You define me not by my performance, but by your promise. You call me not based on perfection, but on purpose. And in that truth, I find room to breathe, room to hope again. Let this day be one where I remember what matters. Not the rush, not the noise, not the outcomes, but the intimacy with you that steadies my soul. Teach me to walk slower, to notice beauty, to listen deeper, to hold space for others without fixing, for myself without shaming, for you without filters. Let love be my default, not my exception. Let grace lead my tone, not just my intentions. Let joy be rooted in something unshakable, not circumstantial. I ask, Lord, that you would also bless the hearts of those who have walked this journey with me. Each one, from places near and far, with stories I may never hear, but you already hold completely. May they feel seen in these words. May they feel wrapped in something greater than language. May they discover in their own way, their own pace, the nearness of a God who never demands performance, but invites presence. A God who loves through and through, in the dark and the dawn, in the known and the mystery. To each heart that has listened this far, I want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing your soul to open, for staying, for letting these words become more than just a voice, but a shared sacred space between us and the divine. You did not have to stay this long, but you did. And that faithfulness matters. In a world that moves too fast, you chose to linger in prayer. That choice changes things, even if quietly, even if within. If anything you have heard has touched you, I invite you to share your heart below. Leave a word, a line, a name, a prayer. Let this space become a well where others draw courage, a gentle reminder that none of us walk alone. Your voice matters here, not for its eloquence, but for its honesty. Your story is part of something bigger, and someone else may be waiting for the very hope you now hold. And if this time of prayer has blessed you, I ask you to pass it forward, share this video, subscribe to this channel, not because of the voice you hear, but because of the voice behind it, the one who continues to whisper into every soul that dares to slow down and listen. Let this be a habit, not just a moment, a rhythm of return, a daily breath of sacred focus. Because faith is not something we visit, it is something we live. Together, day by day, word by word, heart to heart. And now, as we reach the end of this journey, I want to say goodbye. Because what began in prayer does not end, it continues in every act of love, every word of truth, every breath surrendered. So let this moment close not like a door, but like an open window. Let it leave you with the scent of peace and the light of new beginnings. May your spirit be quiet as morning mist over still water. May your heart be lifted like petals in a dawn breeze, and may your path ahead shimmer with the soft promise of rising light.